with this moment? How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we, the people, choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
Don't you want healthy children? Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
The sweet emotion raining all over me. I come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
Well, I'll tell you what, if that doesn't give you goosebumps and make you want to cry, check your pulse, people. Holy hell. That is, look, I'm a bit of a what's the word? A bit of a sissy. Every now and again I cry during commercials. You know, those calling home for the first time after being at university and it's a Bell Canada commercial and I'm sitting there crying during a freaking commercial. It happens. I'm stealing that intro because I was just with Eric Hunley and Mark Robert and I hadn't seen that ad until this afternoon when they played it at Eric Hunley's Grobert's Live, and I get goosebumps. It makes me want to cry. And then you sit there and you say, am I the crazy one? I know that I this is what I'm struggling with all day. All election cycle. I know that I'm right. I know that we are right. I know that there is no comparison in this election cycle. There is no comparison to a Trump, Vance, Vivek, RFK, Nicole Shanahan, Tulsi Gabbard. There's no comparison in that prospective administration and the alternative, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. There is no flipping comparison. We're not dealing with equally intelligent people. We're not dealing with an equally intelligent coalition. We're not dealing with a coalition on the Kamala Harris. I guess maybe it is a coalition. It's a coalition of war criminals and immoral scum. And I'm sitting here and I say this to myself. I know that I'm right. I know that I can justify my position. I know that I can give concrete examples. And I know that I could sit down with Pisco and absolutely destroy him in an exchange of ideas. I know that we are the morally righteous side of this. I know this and I say this. And then I say to myself, they are saying the exact same thing. When I sit here and say, if Kamala Harris wins, there's a real prospect that they're going to lock people up in jail. They're saying the same thing about Donald Trump. The only difference is when Trump was in power, he didn't do it. And when they're in power, they've done it systematically. I can appreciate that they are so convinced that they are morally righteous, that they are matter-of-fact correct, that they need to win. If they don't win, it's going to be the end of America. I appreciate that they think that sure as sugar, and they're convinced. And I am convinced that they are wrong, that I can prove that they're wrong, and that one day they will wake up and realize that they were wrong, and they are saying the exact same thing. I can't get over that collision of two universes. They want to tell me that Trump's going to be a dictator on day one. He wasn't a dictator on day 365 times 2, 730, 1460. He wasn't a dictator when he left office on day 1460. But he's really come around with his dictatorship after 4 years of persecution from the dictatorship. And I say that they're criminals. I say it and I can prove it. And then they say, you're criminals. Trump was convicted. I mean, the thing is, it's a blessing and a curse to be able to steelman the other position. The one thing I can definitively say, they're not capable of doing that. They cannot steelman the position that Trump is maybe not a rapist, just maybe this not a matter of fact, that he's maybe not the most dangerous man on earth. But if this election doesn't go the way it needs to, it's going to be, I believe, the end of America as we once knew it. You don't get through 4 years of this open border fentanyl crisis, anarcho-tyranny, and then another 4 years of it, and then potentially another 4 years of that. Countries don't survive that in the same form that they exist. It's true. After the fall of the Roman Empire, you have Italy. It's a beautiful country. I still got a tear from that ad. It's on, people. Can you believe this? Holy hell, it's the culmination of, I tell you, it's been a decade of an election cycle. This is the culmination. We're in the house. I should have double checked to make sure that we're live everywhere. Are we live on the Crumble Sphere? We are. Let me just press play and see if I'm seeing my face. Refresh. Are we live? There are so many streams going on tonight. It's like a stream fest. And I don't know how it's working. We're live on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Blank and Mom says, crossing my fingers, but Locals behaves on my phone tonight. And are we live on Twitter? Not that I don't care about it, but you see an ad like that from Nicole Shanahan, a lifelong Democrat, the most paradigmic, the most quintessential Democrat profile you've ever seen, is now voting Trump. And that ad, the music is beautiful. You see diversity in the meaningful sense, because in addition to physical, trivial diversity, you see ideological diversity. You compare that to this. I'm going to swear a little bit tonight, people, and I apologize in advance. Can I get it? And come on, where is it? I need to make sure that if I bring up my... You compare it to this utter propaganda shit. Do you understand? When I say, like, I can understand both sides. They think they're right. They think we're wrong. They think they're righteous. They think we're criminals. Art is in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So is inspiration, I guess. Is there anyone on this earth with a sincerely, genuinely functioning brain that looks at this and feels inspired? I look at this, by the way. Hold on. Let me see if I can get... it was from The Fifth Element, Ponytails. Let me see if I can find that. Nah, I'm getting pictures of Mila Jovovich, the alien. It was the alien. Let me see something here. Yeah, here. This. Like, this picture, I'm going to come back to it in a second. That piece of Orwellian propaganda really gives me the alien vibe out of The Fifth Element. Not this one right here. But there are people out there, Liz Cheney being one of them, so seriously, incorrigibly stupid that she looked, oh, look at this. It's inspirational. A young girl looking up at who might be the first black woman president of these United States. This looks like exactly what I think it's intended to look like. An elitist prick looking down on her lowly plebs who are in a brainwashed trance looking up to her. I mean, it's so amazing. It gets every technical aspect of a photograph, right? It's like 1/3, it's a little bit more than 1/3 on the top, but you get your 1/3, 2/3. Everybody knows, like, a photograph, a beautiful photo is broken down into thirds, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Oh no, she's looking up for inspiration. That cackling face of that woman is but someone rightly pointed out the stars, for whatever the reason, are upside down. So they kind of look like the pentagram instead of the American flag stars. I don't think there's really very many people who look at this and don't feel uneasy. And if they say they don't feel uneasy, I don't think they're being honest, much like Liz Cheney. The coalition people on the right of the Republicans is RFK Jr., environmentalist, health nut, Nicole Shanahan, Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm not even going to reduce myself and lower myself to like measuring ethnicity. Tulsi Gabbard, veteran, hero. J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and their coalition, war whore Liz Cheney and her war criminal war whore father, Dick Cheney. P. Diddy party goer, Bad Bunny. Who else do they got? Oh, yeah, that's right. Nanny banger Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, but Viva. Donald Trump also had infidelity. First of all, I don't care about one's infidelity if the role that they're starting to play is one of a leader of a nation. But when they start, pretending to be the moral high ground, and when they judge people for that, because they're the ones judging Trump for his prior divorces and whatever. Okay, well, that's fair game then. I'll judge you, Nanny Banger Schwarzenegger. Nanny Banger Emhoff, a man who's supposed to now be a role model for men. Ugh. He's a wannabe Seth Rogen. So tonight's the night, and it's going to be a wild night. We'll see if Barnes can get in. Barnes has I believe, may have pulled a muscle. We're going to see Barnes if he can get in, and we're going to follow this until we're through. Now, I'm going to be it's going to be crisscrossing streams here because I'm going to pop on to Benny Johnson's stream at 9 o'clock. I'm going to pop on to Dave Rubin at 11:30. I'm going to pop on to, there's someone else in there, Rebel News. I'm sure where's my phone? Crap. It's right here. So I need to make sure that I'm getting all of this. I'm nervous as hell, people. All right, let's get to the chat and see what's going on here. So now what I'm thinking in terms of formats, I'm going to bring up here, but keep it on mute, share screen, and just have Fox News for
would not have invested quite so many
for the results. We're going to keep the mute on. There's no way to, we're going to do this actually. Let me see if I can swap this around. No. Can I go like this? Yeah, that's better. We'll do that. I think that's good. And then if we have a guest come in so that we can get the results. Thus far, I don't believe that they've called any states, maybe Indiana and Kentucky. And we're going to be live as they come in with results. I've made my prediction. I'll show you what my prediction was, and I'm sticking to it. Let me see here. Can we do this? I can't share the screen again. Viva, how do I contact you to send you stuff? In the About page on YouTube, there's a P.O. box. I could probably find it and get it, but it's a P.O. box. I know the box is number 139. It's on Glades, and it's a USPS thing, a USB. So, yeah, you get it in the About description on YouTube, and I think it's also in Twitter. So what we're going to bounce in just to see what the results are. But in the meantime, I want to show you this because I'll bring that out. The level of crappy analysis, and I'm saying it's like legacy media. I was just listening to it on the way over here when I was driving back from Hundley's place back home. It's so flipping bad. It's so flipping superficial. It's so not disconnected, but what's the word when you are not at the ground level with your ear to the grindstone? It's just so trivial and bad that they're effectively dead. The only question is, I don't have sources to get the real-time counts other than that. But listen to this. So this is from Fox News, and this is a guy talking about the last week of the elections. What did they do good, and what did they do bad between the two of them? And then he gets on to, the bad is his amazing analysis is nothing that happened in the last 7 days really moved the needle.
The negatives are that if you're not a Trump fan or you're not a Harris fan, nothing they said in the last few days will change your mind. Harris didn't really get into specifics through the entire 107 days of her campaign. Donald Trump kept with the same themes that he has talked about: the economy, immigration, these other things, right through to the end. So in the last 7 days, I was waiting for something to kind of move the needle here a little bit.
Something to move the
I didn't
needle.
really see that. The negatives are that if you're not a Trump fan or you're not a Harris fan, nothing they said in the last few days will change your mind. Harris didn't
you can
really
see
get
it's
into specifics through the entire.
Nothing happened in the last 7 days that
of her
really moved the needle. Do they not think Joe Rogan at a midnight hour endorsement of Donald Trump doesn't move the needle somewhat? Can you? I was thinking about this actually. Just first of all, I'll reiterate what I said in my video yesterday. If you're watching now, you probably saw it. It's a God-given miracle that Americans today still have the chance, the opportunity to vote for Donald Trump. It's like an absolute miracle because in the world of statistical likelihoods, he shouldn't be on that ballot. The sequence of events that allowed him to get shot in the ear in Butler was astronomical to the point of quite clearly it was organized incompetence or just structured, let it happen on purpose. So the odds, Jack Posobiec talked about it in his book, Bulletproof. It's like in the order of trillions that all of the mistakes that occurred that day. No aerial, no drones, because the person who was supposed to be manning the drone, although I think she was a woman, didn't know how to work a drone, and she's calling up frickin' China because those DJIs are made wherever, calling them up and trying to get online help as to how to work a drone. The perimeter, the Pac-Man perimeter, instead of it being a circle, it was Pac-Man, and where the mouth was the roof of the AGR building. That kid was there flying a drone. That he was there with a scope, and that cops didn't stop him. That it was about 2 minutes where people were screaming, he's on the roof with a gun, and they didn't take Trump off stage. That all of these things happened as just a matter of accidents. It's in the order of trillions in terms of likelihood or unlikelihood. So it was not an accident, period. What was the accident is that Trump moved his head and didn't get graphically, brutally murdered on live stream for the entire world to see. That was the miracle. That was the statistical improbability. Because the rest of it was written. The rest of it was allowed to happen, and call me crazy and you can kiss my little bottom if you think that it wasn't a let it happen on purpose or made it happen on purpose. But the miracle and the statistical improbability, what was not supposed to happen that day was Trump was not supposed to survive that day. And the fact that he's on the ballot is a miracle. And it's a miracle that I hope Americans appreciate and took advantage of today. Now, I absolutely forgot where I was going with that. It had to do, the moving of the needle, the cosmic events that came together. Thank you. I just jogged my own memory there. So the fact that Trump is on the ballot is a miracle. The sequence of events from Joe Biden withdrawing, Kamala Harris coming in, her gosh, what do we want to call it? Manufactured bump. It's like a breast implant for a campaign bump. It's just like it's a manufactured, falsified bump. It's not there. I just make it nice and big. And then the coalition. So Trump narrowly escapes graphic, brutal, televised death, murder. RFK joins. RFK then gives the most amazing speech ever that he's, formally coalescing with Trump. Elon Musk gets on board. And then at the 11th hour, Joe Rogan, who took some heat for saying he wasn't endorsing Donald Trump, gets on board and endorses Donald Trump. Joe Rogan, I don't know, how many millions of views does he get? I want to see that, actually. Joe Rogan daily views. I would say 50 million. His 2 episodes have over 100 million views combined, and I think this is of something else. He reaches in the orders of 14.5 million followers on Spotify. At the 11th hour, Joe Rogan formally endorses Donald Trump by praising Elon Musk and saying this is a battle for the future. And that Jack Annini on Legacy Media says, no, nothing's happened in the last week to move the needle. Let's see if Fox News calls Arizona. Bada bing, bada boom. That'll never get old. So let's see here. If we bring it back in, polls close in Georgia, Florida, and Arizona. So I'll bring it back up, but I'm going to keep it small. Share screen. Presidential election right here. Bada bing, bada boom. And let me see what that looks like. Okay, that looks good. That's small. By the way, the PO box for anybody who wants to send me anything is in, not under the about, but it's under the channel description. The address is 9170 Glades Road, 139 Boca Raton. Here, I'll just cut and paste it if anybody wants to send stuff, because everybody loves getting stuff. PO box. There you go. There's a typo. It says PO Bonox. All right. So apparently, by the way, so let's get into some analysis. Tim Pool tweeted out earlier, Miami's going red. It looks like it's going red. Whether or not it goes red, my understanding is that there's been a swing in Miami of like double-digit swing from, I don't know if it was last election. It doesn't even, the bottom line, it doesn't even matter if it actually goes red to like the 52% or 53%. There's been a double-digit swing in Miami, which is indicative of a great many things. Miami has a very large Latino community, as I'm pretty sure everybody appreciates. Miami apparently hasn't gone red since George Bush. And so the idea that Miami is going red, this was explained to me by someone who's smarter than me. Not sure if he wants me to name him, but that it's an indication that Trump has picked up massive, massive support among the Latino community. And that is representative, not of what I'm told is it doesn't really represent what's going to happen in California, because that's a different demographic of Latino community, but it's representative of what's going to happen with the Latino community everywhere in between. And so it's a wildly, wildly optimistic turn of events, statistic. And do you remember when the whole Haitian thing was hitting the fan? Everybody's like, oh, it's racist and yada, 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 all this other crap. And people were telling me, Viva, you got 200,000 Haitians that live in Florida. You don't know that. Trump just screwed Florida. Well, they're right, by the way. I had to look that up. 200,000. I don't know if it's temporary protected status Haitians or Haitians that have immigrated from Haiti to come to live in the free, beautiful America and the even freer, more beautiful Florida. 200,000 Haitians in Florida. But everyone's like, oh, that's it. Between 1972 and 1977, 200,000 Haitians settled in Florida, many of them in Little Haiti. Today, Florida has the largest Haitian population in the United States, with an estimated 500,000 people. This makes up nearly half of the Haitians in the United States. Just so nobody, it's an AI generated response, but just so that we can see my homework in real time. So everybody was running around screaming like a bunch of hissy teenagers, which seems to be like characteristic of the Democrat, capital D Democrat left. How do I get this in here? I want to bring it back to this. Now I'm way too small. And now if it looks like Miami, which was the blue epicenter of otherwise reddish battleground Florida, is going Republican or has had a double-digit swing, well, A, that's a massive indication for the Latino vote throughout the country, and B, it's a massive indication that the Haitians weren't anywhere near quite as pissed with what Trump said and what J.D. Vance said. And arguably, and call me whatever effing names you want, and again, you can call me them, and you can also, while you're doing it, kiss my bottom because I don't give a sweet bugger all. It might be because they know what happens in Haiti and they know what goes on in Haiti. So it's a wild thing. Like, everybody knows that in certain Asian countries, they eat dog. Some people don't like it, but it's a known fact. They went after RFK Jr., alleging that picture of him with a roasted grilled animal was eating a dog. No one claimed racism. How dare you suggest such a thing in Asian countries that they eat dogs? Because it's a known bloody fact, much like it's known that there's a certain amount of voodoo ritualism that goes on in Haiti, that there's a certain amount of eating of certain animals that are culturally much different than what we eat here. Everybody knows it, even Haitians. And so the only people feigning outrage at the remarks about what's going on, unconfirmed but certain reports in Springfield, Ohio, the only people feigning outrage are the Liz Cheney idiots of the world, are the AOC morons of the world. So that's the encouraging stat coming out of Florida. Let's see what's going on here. We're going to get to some of the chicanery that's going on today in terms of Pennsylvania.
Today.
Georgia provides election
magnificent
update
facility
in
here,
Fulton.
which I think is due in large part because if you recall, those of you who were with us in 2020, we were scattered all over the county, different locations. But because of the $30 million investment that
they're going to pat themselves on the back while they
made, this facility has allowed us to consolidate all of our operations under one roof. And the result of that has been an outstanding 2024 election. I had the privilege of personally visiting 31
think we care about
of the
this.
177 precincts today, and I can report to you that I saw no unusual problems, no major.
This is out of Georgia. All right,
whatsoever.
let's put this on mute and bring it out. No unusual stuff coming out of Georgia, eh? Okay. Viva coming in with the contradicting evidence, or at the very least, the questionable evidence. Here, this happened in Georgia today. Brad Ratfaceburger giving an update on bomb threats that he has determined are coming from Russia. Russia. Here, let's see what Brad Ratfaceburger has to say. There's something, we're going to go for two things. I'm going to pick the brains of the internet in a second here. Let's listen to this.
And only places that we've heard about one bomb threat. Have you heard any other verifiable threats at any point?
We've heard some threats that were of Russian origin.
Russian origin. No,
and so I don't know how to describe if that's viable. We don't think they are, but in the interest of public safety, you always check that out. And
he's so responsible.
We'll just continue to be very responsive when we hear about stuff like that. We identified the source, and it was from Russia.
Can you elaborate on that? What kind of threats?
Can you elaborate on that? Can you elaborate on the fact that it was... I'm going to get to the super chats. I didn't actually mean to bring that up. Can you elaborate on the fact that you say it was from Russia? That's what got me.
Threat.
So Russia, and you're confident.
Oh, sorry.
Very responsive when we hear about stuff like that. We identified the source, and it was from Russia.
Can you elaborate on that? What kind of threats?
As he said, it's a bomb threat.
So Russia, and you're confident of the Russians that did.
Yeah, just
The
like
Russian.
we had the DDoS attack on Monday, October 14th, 420,000, pings, denial of service from Russians. So we added that interface.
That was
said,
from
I'm a
Russians.
human. I'm not a robot. So they're up to mischief, it seems, and they don't want us to have a smooth, fair, and accurate election. And anything that can get us to fight among ourselves, they can count that as a victory. So that tells you a little bit about the Russians. They're not our friends. Anyone that thinks they are hasn't been reading the newspapers. Thank you so much.
Okay, first of all, that man exudes arrogance, pomposity, and he makes me want to vomit. I'm going to call him, we call him Ratfaceburger, but I might have to call him, we'll call him Pig Vomit Burger. He looks like a pig, and he makes me want to vomit. Did you hear the very interesting thing? First of all, they know it's from Russia. They know it's from Russia. I was looking into it, and as much as I could, pull up some whatever's being reported right now, it's coming from a number of countries, actually not Russia, but they think it's originating from Russia and China. It's coming from like a number of other countries. I'll try to pull it up and just see what the countries were that these bomb threats, alleged bomb threats, are coming from, and the DDoS attack. Oh, it was the DDoS attack. Sorry, but they know it's Russia. It's Russia. And they're not our friends. Right? Anybody who says that, because I'm fairly certain he's taking a little jab at Donald Trump yet again. Anybody who says that is not reading the newspaper. Oh, yeah, because the newspapers have been particularly interested. But listen to this right here.
Stuff like that. We identified the source, and it was from Russia.
Can you elaborate on that? What kind of threats?
Listen.
As he said, it's a bomb threat.
So Russia, and you're confident of the Russians that did.
Confident the Russians did.
Just like we had the DDoS attack on Monday, October 14th. 420,000, pings, denial of service from Russians. So we added that interface that said, I am a human, I'm not a robot. So
we added that interface after a DDoS attack. It's called a CAPTCHA, you dumb Ratfaceburger. It's called a CAPTCHA. You were running, this was for online absentee ballot. And they didn't have a CAPTCHA. And this jackass thinks that by admitting publicly that they added the CAPTCHA after this was already the CAPTCHA, CAPTCHA, like I am not a robot, by adding it after a DDoS attack, that they're responsibly responding to online threats from Russia. How the hell do you set up anything online, especially absentee ballot requests or voting, without a freaking I am not a robot? I mean, you've got to be the next level of idiot to do that. It can't be accidental. And then people are rightly pointing out, I mean, I'm not particularly tech savvy, that putting a CAPTCHA has nothing to do with preventing a DDoS attack or responding to a DDoS attack. So I don't know that. I just rely on the aggregate knowledge of the internet because it's much smarter than me. So nice. You didn't have a 101 like elementary school level of protection of a CAPTCHA for online absentee ballot voting. And then you added that, and apparently it does not even respond to the issue, which was the DDoS attack. So hold on, let me bring up the Ratface Burger is DDoS attack Georgia ballot. You see, I got this. Georgia polling stations hit by origins of bomb threats. It was 2 weeks ago, so we'll go with 11 Alive. We'll go with this news outlet here. Bring it to add it to the stage. Georgia thwarts cyber attack on Georgia voting site. Here's how. Official 420,000 bots swarmed Georgia absentee ballot portal. They didn't have a CAPTCHA to make sure that it's not a bot accessing it. Listen to this. They thwarted a cyber attack, but how exactly did they stop it? State officials said they noticed an unexpected spike in cyber activity on the election system and shut it down before attackers could do any damage. Oh my goodness, they're so good. It came on October 14. They normally get hundreds, and they got 400,000, yada, yada, yada. Here, listen to this. The logins, I'll undo that because it's actually a little too dark. The logins were bots, not individuals from countries like Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Brazil, and the United States. Though Sterling said Russia and China was the likely origin of the attack. It's an amazing thing. All roads lead to Rome, even when they lead to Thailand, Vietnam, Brazil, and the United States. And even if they lead to Russia, the idea that there are no like intelligence assets who might be using Russia as a pass-through subterfuge for their election fortification it's so laughably stupid. It came from Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Brazil, United States. But Sterling, who's Sterling again here? I think that's the AG. Gabriel Sterling, the Secretary of State's Chief Operating Officer. Sorry, that's Ratface Burger's Chief Operating Officer. So yeah, it came from a number of countries, none of which are Russia or China, but they're confident it came from Russia originally. Okay. Do we have any news? How do I do this? I need someone to text me. Anybody who's locals, hold on. We're going to locals now for a second here. Okay, we got a good crowd over here at locals. I'm going to go to the tipped ones here. DS Farrell says, my husband posted about yoga on locals, but forgot to mention it's a live stream, 6:30 a.m. Central Time, every day except for Sunday. Join us, Patreon. Let me see if I can do this here. Yeah, I can do this. Here, check this out. Okay, we can do this. We can do it. Election night. DS Farrell. My husband posted about yoga on locals, but forgot to mention. 6:30 a.m. is very, very early. So let me just read it out. Central Time. Every day except for Sunday. Join us, Patriots and friends. Here we got Bill Brown in the house with his memes. Bill sends me these memes all the time, and they're fantastic. A walk in the woods helps me relax and release tension. The fact that I'm dragging a body behind me should be irrelevant. DTQC says it feels like the 95 Quebec referendum all over again. No, this is going to be, I think this is going to be decisive for the reasons we've already gone into. Jeffrey Farrell, Viva Barnes Patriots, recover from the stress with me for a free 15-minute yoga wake up. Easy for everyone at yoga masala with Jeffrey Farrell, not Farrell, Farrell.locals.com. Hang in there and breathe this evening. Lily in America says, I like Barris, but I'll be hanging out with my Viva Frei and peeps when I get home because I love you. Thank you very much, Lily. And then we got my family just received an Act Blue donation request saying Harris won the election. History. Gray 101, I'm going to ask you to send me that. My family member just received an Act Blue donation request. Okay, Gray, I'm going to send you an email right now. And if you can ask your family member, hold on. If you can ask your family member to send me that, I want to see that. I want to bring that up, and I would love to share that. Gray 101. So I go here. I go to admin settings and I go member lookup. Hold on, let me get this. Gray 101. Member lookup. Give me 2 seconds, please. I'm going to do this in real time because I want to see that. I think we should all see that. If they're comfortable, I don't want to put anyone out there. Gray, is it gray with an E or gray with a... Oh, what? That's an E. Okay, put it with an A. Gray 101. There. Don't. I'm not going to say your email address, obviously. And now I'm sending you an email. If you could, I would love to see that. Redacted. Properly redacted. Of course. Smiley face. Smiley face. Okay, there you go. Done. We'll see if we can get that. That does it for our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. For now, for the tip questions, we'll go to Rumble. Why is it not here on the side? We've got Biltong in the house. Oh, well, speaking of this image, okay, we'll get this here and we're going to have some fun stuff. King of Biltong says, add some Biltong to your diet as a high-protein snack alternative packed with B12, zinc, iron, creatine, and more. Get yourself some at www.biltongusa.com. Viva 10 for 10% off. Try our dried sausage. All right, you know what? Biltong, you started the joke. Do I want to bring it up? I shared it in our locals community. I saw the GIF yesterday. Look, speaking of dried sausage and dirty jokes, and I'm a child and a baby and always will be at heart. You all saw the GIF of Donald Trump doing something funky with the microphone, and everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, how could he make such a?" The left are such the capital L left, capital D Democrats are such a bunch of godforsaken scoundrels. They pretend not to get jokes when they want to. They pretend to take things literally when they know they're not to be taken literally. Bloodbath remark, for example. And then they take things out of context. I mean, these clips are getting so short. This was a 1.5 second GIF, which I actually thought was like replayed back and forth because of the motion being made. And then I went and I was like, all right, well, I got to find it because I think it's bullshit. The default position is that if they're criticizing Trump, it's bullshit. Now, maybe that is tainting the way I'm viewing this, but this is the video of the GIF. You watch this entire thing. It's 1:45. I'm going to go run and make myself a martini because I'm going to be here for a long time, and I'm having a martini with a nice olive in it. Watch this, and then I'm going to ask a question. We're going to do a poll in the chat here. Hold on. Let me just get a head start.
Hello? Hello? I don't think so. Hello? Is that better? Is that better? That's terrible. Is that better back there? Was that yes or no? What crap. The only thing I asked for is a mic. You don't have to give me, I don't even need a stage. I don't give a damn. Give me a good mic. And I went through 2 of these today. And it knocks the hell out of your throat. But so far I'm doing okay, right? Okay. Is that better? Yeah. And did you notice I came in today, I said, and you know, this is after 4 of these things. I've been, in all fairness, I mean, I'm a human being, right? I come in, and here's the problem. I said, oh man, it's too low. I said, it's too low. So I had to go. Way too low. Way too low. So I walk in, I said, shit, there's nothing worse than I walk in like this and I'm bent. Did you notice? I was bending over like this. Hello. And then everybody says, is there something wrong with his back? What the hell is wrong with that guy? They're saying he's cognitively impaired and physically impaired. There's something wrong with them all because I have guys that are stupid back there. All right, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, right?
First of all, I love it. He's embracing the whole stand-up comic thing. Is this the part here?
Way too low. I had to go. So I said, so I had to go.
All right, so here's the question. Was he making a lewd joke? Or was he actually didn't realize that he was doing something that someone could misinterpret as being lewd and and they clipped that 1.5 seconds with no context, no before, no after. Hold on, let me just close the door again. Oh man. Okay. I want to go to the chat. We're not going to do a poll because let me see here. I'm in Locals and I'm in Rumble. Do you think that he was doing something deliberately crude, or do you think I need to show it again actually, because it looks like what people were showing as the clip looked like he was doing a stroking motion, but actually he's just doing an up and down motion. And I'm not trying to protect Trump here. He's doing this like a gear shift. See, that when they clipped it, it looks like he's doing the jack off motion. In reality, he's lowering it and raising it because it's too low. And then he's lowering it down. It is amazing. When you slow it down, you can really make it do anything. Like when they slowed down that video of him trying to do the kisses with that girl at the Turning Point event to say that he groped her. What does everyone say? I call bullshit, and I call that is not a sexual joke, and that he actually probably didn't even realize at the time why they were laughing as hard as they were laughing. Let me go to Locals and see here. So, by the way, someone said who asked about Barnes? I'm always nervous about disclosing information that I'm not supposed to disclose. Someone asked, is Barnes okay? Oh, here, let's get to these in CommieTube. Your favorite phrase, confession to projection. They fear Republicans will treat them the same way they treat Republicans. Absolutely, Justin White. I will never again be able to say any word with an H in it, with just 1,000%. Incidentally, that's probably why they looked at that video and saw someone doing some lewd hand gesture, because that's what they want to do whenever they see Trump. So no question about it. It's the confession through projection. It's the seeing in others what you feel true about yourselves. Bear Lamb says, it's too bad I didn't go to California and vote. I'm from Canada. They didn't ask us for IDs, but we're too nice to do that. Joke. No, that's the type of joke you'll end up in jail for. Like I made a joke about David Hogg endorsing Trump, and like, oh shit, someone, now that we live in this world, could say, oh, that's a conspiracy to commit violation of civil rights because you're trying to trick people into thinking that David Hogg is actually endorsing Trump. And then and that you're trying to deprive people of their actual votes, so you go to jail now for fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, election fraud. So yeah, but you got to even. I mean, I always live on that edge where you watch your jokes. Viva, how do I contact and send you stuff? Lost in Law. Then it was here. Lost in Law says, I was Rekeda's election analyst in 2020. Spoke French with you on his stream. Remember, out of work this time around, obvious reasons. Rekeda's election 2020. Don't take it personally that I don't remember speaking French with you. I don't remember Rekeda's election stream on 2020, and not for any nefarious reasons. Geez Louise, I have to go. That's down the memory hole right there. I'll have to figure that one out. Okay, so James D. Walker said, just checking, is Barnes okay? Barris hinted that he might be out tonight due to an injury or something. I'm neurotically nervous about disclosing. Apparently he pulled a muscle in his back and it's excruciating. I said, this is what happens when we get old. Dude, I busted my MCL and it's now 3.5 weeks out and it's just getting better. And you tweak something in your neck, you just say, oh, you just like do the wrong thing and you're bedridden. So as far as I understand, it's not serious, but it's very painful. So I think he's lying down. So unless we want to see Barnes on his back, it'll be bourbon with Barnes on his back. We'll see. But he's alive and he's well. Let me see here if I got any text messages. Okay. Wordle champ. Oh shoot, I didn't finish the Wordle today. Okay, hold on. I actually have to do that before I did I finish the Wordle? I know it's a stupid game. And I'll do it later. He did a Kamala reference. Love you, Viva, since Ottawa days. No, well, Von Donks. That's the going theory, that he was making a sex joke because it was a reference to Kamala Harris. And if you don't see that the context has nothing to do with Kamala Harris, I could have been inclined to believe that from the clip. The joke there would have been no doubt in my mind if he was talking about even before or after how Kamala Harris succeeded in her career. There's no question. I would have made that connection, and I would never deny it. He was talking about how the mic was too low, and he looks like an idiot, and he's blaming it on the staff. He's like, "Oh, I'm going up and down," and now I just did it there, and I'm gonna get totally. So no, I don't think it was a Kamala Harris reference because there was no Kamala Harris reference within proximity of that. So that's what I'm going with, and I think I like my analysis best. Okay, so let's go see what's going on here, people. Oh gosh, that's the bouncing between screens to see what happens. Let's see. Let's go to the Fox website. I am having a wonderful aviation gin martini. I made that martini in less than a minute and 45 seconds. So here's the deal. Okay. Here's the deal, people. We know that by and large, until we get to the swing states, which have mysteriously announced that it's going to take weeks to get their results, these mother effers are corrupt as the days long. The important analysis that we're going to get early on are the stats and the numbers coming out of the, call them non-swing states. I want to see what happens in New York in terms of the numbers. So Vermont is 66 thus far to 30%. Let me just see one thing here. Vermont 2020 election results. This is going to be the comparative. So Biden easily emerged victorious in the Green Mountain State, 66% to 30%. So now what are we here? This is the comparison. 66% to 30. Well, that's actually wild. Hold on. 66. Remember the number, people. 60. Oh, it's now 67%. Okay, well, now it's not exactly the number that I saw before. It was 66.09%. So what's going to be indicative of broader shifts that are going to have impacts in swing states and other states is if Kamala wins the states that she's going to win, but wins them with a lesser margin than Biden won them in 2020. So Vermont apparently thus far looks like it's on par with the results from 2020. Okay, fine. Virginia. So West Virginia. I wish we had like I don't even know that I want a higher production because it just carries with it a lot of baggage, but like a bell going off. Well, they've called another state and everybody goes crazy. Dude, I'm nervous. Okay. So this is where we're at right now. It is 23-3. Let me show you what my prediction was for the election, peeps. And we're going to see, I'll either look very smart or very stupid. I was thinking about this also as I'm biking, that I've got like my, what is it? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but I've got like my Maslow's hierarchy of concerns. I'll call it the Viva Frei hierarchy of concerns. When it comes, you want to be right. I want to be right on my prediction of the election. Let me just show you what it is before we get much further. This is my sincere sticking to it. If it's on, it's on. And if it's not, sorry, hold on one second. Someone just called here. I don't know who that person is that called. Oh, I got to keep my phone on because we might get a call. Oh, son of a gun. Dexter Taylor called and I didn't have it on. Oh, son of a gun. Please call back. Okay. I'm going to leave my phone on and you might hear some pinging because Dexter Taylor is supposed to call me from the Coxsackie Correctional Facility. Hopefully he'll call back. This is my prediction and I'm sticking to it. So I put out a subsidiary one if the numbers don't. This is my as educated a guess as can come. Michigan, Wisconsin, go to Trump despite the odds right now. The heck was I just going to say about this? The hierarchy of importance. I want to be right. Can you ask him to call back? Question mark. I missed it because I had my phone on mute, period. Sorry about that. I will absolutely take it, period. I just didn't hear my phone ring. I want to be right. And there's 3 reasons, and they are in ascending order of importance. The least important reason is that I bet on it. I've put my money where my mouth is on Predictive. That's the least important of the reason. The next important reason, also lesser important. I want people to trust my assessment and my analysis and my piecing together of information to provide not only accurate analysis, but in this context, accurate prediction. So, it's an ego. It's financial, it's ego, and then it's existential in the ascending order of importance. The most important being existential. I want to be right Because if I'm wrong, the bet is meaningless. The ego is meaningless because what we've lost is existential. It's the future of these United States of America. And that was my deep thought. This is my prediction. Subsidiarily, there, Michigan can go somewhere else. Pennsylvania can go somewhere else. And there's wiggle room. But that's my prediction, and you've seen it. And I cannot undo the prediction. I've also predicted that, in my view, this is like a lesser probability on which I have no active bet, is that this needs to be decisive. And if I'm factoring in what I believe is the shift in the zeitgeist, the repulsion of the Kamala Harris campaign, the coalition of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, if they don't bring with them 3 million Democrat centrist, reasonable progressives, then I'll be wrong. But I think they are. So I think Trump gets more votes than he got in 2020. And I think Kamala gets less than Biden got in 2020, because I don't believe that Biden got 81 million naturally, organically. And that's it. So now we'll see where this all goes from here. Now, let's bring up, while we're waiting for Dexter Taylor from the Coxsackie Correctional Facility. Let's see the amazing analysis we're getting over here. Let's see this here.
New York City implicitly a week ago. So he's always tried to give this sense that he's going to really, scramble the map when the map looks to be, pretty rigid.
All right, and we are tracking more of these races here. Bill Scher, we're going to take, and also we're going to take just our final commercial break of this hour. Polls will close soon in more of these battleground states at the top of the next hour. I'm Andrew Kraft. Thanks for being with us here as we continue to monitor, track all of these results as we close in on the top of another hour here.
Okay, we're going to put that on pause, and we're going to go back to the map as it currently stands, and then we're going to continue talking. Okay, here we go. So back here now to key battleground races on razor's edge, as North Carolina and Georgia are too close to call, are too early to call. Miss Scusi. Here she's back down to 66. It'll be really funny if she gets to like 66.6%. That'll be fitting, telling, and we'll see what happens as Vermont progresses. Okay. How he did a Kamala Harris? Okay, I got that. So that's that. Back over on our locals community, bringing it on down. Barnes strained his back carrying law tube, says the Godfather. And then we've got, hold on, let me bring this up because these are beautiful. And then I'm going to bring mine up in the backdrop here. Oh, this is a level of nervous tension. I'll get my blood pressure machine out here. This is the Godfather. Barnes strained his back carrying law tube. And then look at this. Here we go. Bender is great. Want a flag just like Viva and Barnes. Just in time for the election, I've made a small batch of waving wooden flags just for the locals community. Visit renixclimbing.etsy.com. Use the code LOCALS50 for $50 off. All proceeds will be foolishly gambled away immediately on Barnes election picks. Let me show what mine looks like. Okay, hold on. Okay. Oh, Lordy. Okay. Oh, it smells so good. It smells like a campfire. Okay. Look at this. It's a work of art, people. It's thick. It's beautiful. It's got the Pledge of Allegiance on it, and it's an absolute work of art. So that is what you'll be getting. Now, hold on. Let me just put this back here. Don't knock anything over. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's amazing. Bender is great. You produce works of woody art. Watching from Canada, hoping for a Trump win and avoiding World War III. That's the ultimate irony. Did I bring up the screen? They're fearful that Trump will bring about a World War III when in reality the world knew global, at the very least, stability in the Middle East like it had never known. And now we're on the brink of World War III, and yet somehow it's Trump who's the concern there. Do you know there were some Muslim leaders in Minnesota endorsing Trump? It's the amazing thing. Like, even if you hate Israel, and I understand a lot of people do, even if you hate Israel and you love, I mean, first of all, you should love everybody, period. If you want to avoid Palestinian plight, it's an amazing thing how stability in the Middle East is the way to do it. Much fewer Palestinians die when there's actual stability, prospect of peace, peace negotiations, Abraham Accord, whatever, than when there's instability and countries carrying out acts of terrorism, reprisals for the acts of terrorism. It's just if you sincerely care for the Palestinian people, you want a Trump presidency. They were on as much of a verge as of some form of peaceful coalition in the Middle East under Trump, and then you get a weak, demented old man, corrupt to the core, and shit goes to the fan, gets splattered all over the room, and then you have people dying left, right, and center. Oh. Yeah. Now, but incidentally, on that note, by the way, listen, we're talking about like when we're going to get results. When are we going to get results? This is Arizona. I got to check my bets. I still think Kari Lake is wildly underrepresented, underestimated. But out of Georgia, I'll read the text in a second. They won't. Not Georgia. This is out of Maricopa County. Hold on. Drew Hernandez, Assistant County Manager Zach Shira, has confirmed the full election results might take a few days to announce after Election Day in Maricopa. This is bullshit. This is third world country, kangaroo court, falsified elections bullshit. It's an amazing thing. Technology gets better and results get slower. That's not how it works. He says the candidate ahead might change after election night, after days of counting, and that it's it's not normal. It's actually abnormal. It's actually corrupt. And just looking at this guy, I'm saying corrupt.
My name is Zach Shira, and I'm the Assistant County Manager for Elections and External Affairs here at Maricopa County. As we do every election, our first results drop will be 8 p.m., an hour after the polls close. We expect this will be between 70 and 75% of the early ballots that we have received to date. Additional results will be reported throughout the night, and those will be the in-person votes that we tabulate at our vote centers. The majority of ballots will be counted within the first 24 hours after the polls close.
Holy cows.
But it's important to remember that here in Arizona, our races are extremely close, and it still might take a few days for you, the media, to call those races.
Okay, hold on. I will pause this right now. And I will say one thing. This man has beautiful hair. This man looks like Clark Kent. Like, I brushed my hair in the shower to get the knots out. I have not coiffed my hair. I'll see if I can pull up the picture. Locals, you know which picture I'm talking about. High school when I blow dried it straight up. I haven't coiffed my hair since I was 13 years old. And this guy actually, he looks like he might be not far from 13. So he's got beautiful hair. Give him credit for that.
Take a few days for you, the media, to call those races. It is possible that some of the candidates who are ahead on election night and some of those questions as well might not be ahead and might not maintain those leads after election day.
I'm sorry. Bullshit. You go to jail. That's the end of it. Like, if I am Trump the tyrant, you go to jail. Election day is voting on the day of, and you count those mother effing ballots until 6 a.m. if you have to. But if we can do it in Canada, if they can do it in Florida, which almost has a population of Canada, not quite, but close, you can do it in Arizona, Maricopa County, you corrupt hack. Period. Right to jail. Do you undercount the vote? Right to jail. Overcount the vote? Out. Take too long to count the vote? Jail.
As additional ballots are counted and reported. This is normal.
No, it's not. No, it is not. And you telling me that it's normal is not normal. Nor will it make it normal, nor will it make it acceptable. It's questionable. Ooh, hold on. We got an update. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, now my computer's going to start freezing up. Holy sweet, merciful goodness. I'll put a fist through my computer screen. It'll be the day that I get a new computer when Viva loses it on election night. And then there's going to be like a video of me on the internet. Oh, come on. Okay, hold on. I got to. Holy crab apples. Following the market, I presume you can still see me, even though I can't actually toggle anything here. Now, the GOP winning by 105 to 154 is up to 13 cents. The GOP winning by 65 to 104 is up to 33, up 12 cents. Holy crab apples. Okay, now my computer's like catching up on things. So meanwhile, I couldn't get it up here. Here, check it out. I want to share this. This is crazy, people. This is crazy. Here we go. Let me just see. Let me make sure. I'm going to put on mute to make sure that I can share this. Hold on, please. Give me a second. Everybody, Dexter Taylor, do you want to say hi to the world?
Hello to the world. That sounds like that's a programming nerd joke hidden in there somewhere. Yes,
Well,
hello world.
Now, before we even get too far into this, let me make sure that that we're hearing you well. Locals, I'm going to locals because I get immediate answers there. Can you hear Dexter Taylor? Dexter, just tell everybody where you are and how I.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is Dexter Taylor coming to you live from the SAC, Coxsackie State Prison in New York State.
Okay. Everybody says good.
And I'm Dexter Taylor, aka Carbon Mike. Go on, I'm sorry.
No, Dexter. Everybody says I pronounce it badly when I say Coxsackie. How do you pronounce it?
Well, of course, I say Coxsackie. You see, I don't emphasize it. Like, it doesn't sound cool when you say it.
It's Coxsackie because you are both getting shafted by the cock and the Sackie.
Oh, hey, cut that out right now. I'm gonna jump off this phone. Like, this is jail. We don't talk like that here. All right? Like, it's Coxsackie. You know something? Call it the sack.
I'll call it the sack. I'll tone it down. I'll call it the cul de sac, which is hold on, I'm choking.
A cul-de-sac. You have to bring in the cool. Okay. You Frenchman.
Dexter, I'm having one of these. I inhaled saliva. Oh, this is going to be embarrassing. Hold on.
Jesus.
Okay, tell everybody what's going on, who you are, and where you are.
Okay, well, first of all, before I say anything else, I am calling into Viva Frei's show about the good offices of my buddy Carl, who's also on the line. And Carl is, like me, a very strong pro-Second Amendment conservative. Now, I am in the SAC. I'm in Coxsackie State Prison because the Democrats that run New York State do not respect the Second Amendment. That is exactly why I'm here. I am a squeaky clean citizen. I'm 53 years old. I have a clean criminal record. I've been gainfully employed. I am a 30-some-odd year veteran of the software industry. I'm a licensed amateur radio operator. I was a member in good standing of my local gun range at the time I got raided. And I was also taking online classes to figure out how to apply for my FFL. In 2020 or thereabouts, being a lifetime nerd and machine enthusiast and shade tree mechanic and maker of all kinds of stuff, I started making weapons. I started building 80% firearms based on legal parts that I bought online using my credit card under my real name, shipped directly to my house. None of the weapons that I built ever so much as crossed the threshold of my house. I built maybe 6 Glock-style pistols and 8 AR rifles, 7 AR-15s, and 1 very sexy AR-10. I never bragged about it on social media. I never brandished weapons. I never talked about weapons. I never hinted at selling weapons or selling gunsmithing services. This was a private hobby and something that I hope to become my second career. In 2022, I was raided by a joint NYPD ATF team. SWAT team broke down my door. ATF took a look around and left, never to be heard from again. And New York State locked me up and decided to try me for multiple counts of felony weapons possession, among other things. My bail, incidentally, to get out of Rikers Island for this violent crime. So that is the violent crime of keeping and bearing arms inside my house. My bail was almost $250,000. Okay. Of course, I rejected all the plea deals that the state offered because I know how to read the Second Amendment. And how to read the Bruin decision as well. So, we went to trial, a trial that was in some respects a show trial. My judge happened to be a woman who was married to the Brooklyn DA's top fundraiser. And she operated in that courtroom as if she had orders to be a third prosecutor. And they were successful. The state was successful. We got an adverse verdict. And I was sentenced to 10 years in prison, again, for the violent crime of keeping and bearing arms in my house as a law-abiding citizen with a clean record. That's why I'm here. Yeah. So, of course, we're appealing the case. And, of course, the fight is really just beginning. We expected that we wouldn't really get any love at the trial court level. But that's the fight we're in. And, of course, the backstory to all this is that I've been doing conservative politics online since about 2015 as Carbon Mike.
I think you might have glossed over the most important thing. You were sentenced to 10 years in prison.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Now,
yeah.
So people might know you. It was you had a podcast. It was called Carbon Mike.
Well, my identity is called Carbon Mike. My podcast was called Dangerous Space, and I also have a website, futurerad.io. It's the Foundationist website. I'm the founder of the Foundationist Society, and there's a lot of content online. My thoughts about conservatism, about conservative politics. About the future of our republic, about where we're going wrong, where we can start going right again. And so a lot of my content, or all of my content, is really out there for people to see and decide for themselves whether, for example, my political content might have risen to the level of alarming public bureaucrats to the extent that they have to break my door down. You can look up everything I've said or written online and judge for yourself. I also have quite a bit of open source code under my belt. I published that as Binary Machines. So if you look on that channel on YouTube, you'll see a variety of training videos that I put together for the different software products I've come up with. And of course, all my code is on GitHub. So I mean, that's the kind of the whirlwind tour of who I am and where I'm coming from. In terms of the politics of it, again, I want to just reiterate, yes, I'm a conservative. I do have a manifesto, but my manifesto is hardly something that would cause a reasonable person to be alarmed at the fact that I'm building firearms in my house. My manifesto is a 10-point, very simple manifesto. See deeply, listen closely, reason honestly, speak clearly, act bravely, deny the self, defend the individual, respect tradition, face the present, cultivate the future. That's the Foundationist manifesto. And so, we know that this is not a matter of public safety. This is a matter of political control and a state regime that thinks it's above the law of the land, which is, of course, the Constitution.
Dexter,
and specifically the Bill of Rights.
If I may, I want to clarify two details. First of all, you have a Give, Send, Go that it's still up and it's still functional. It's still the right one, right? I'm sharing this with the community right now. Okay, excellent.
That's the link that's on my profile. Yes,
okay, excellent. And now flesh this out because I don't know that everybody heard our first interview. I don't want to talk too loud. you were they called it ghost guns, but you were building homemade firearms from basically components that you order online legally, delivered to your house, your apartment. And so, and they're all they're serialized, correct?
No, they're not serialized. No.
The parts.
They're not serialized. No.
Okay, fine. So I misunderstood that part. That doesn't matter. Let's sidebar a second. I mean, it's important because various anti-Second Amendment political hacks like to make a lot of hay about the fact that my weapons didn't have serial numbers. So, of course, as far as federal law is concerned, the only time you're under any obligation to serialize a firearm, to serialize the receiver, is if you manufacture it for the purpose of selling it or otherwise transferring it. Now, there is nothing that I've done that would make any sane person think that I intended to sell or transfer these weapons. Again, the state subpoenaed my email records. They seized my devices. They seized my phones. They got so-called American Express to give up my records, right? And so they know very well that I wasn't trying to transfer weapons. They know very well I wasn't trying to either sell or give weapons away. And again, the ATF agents were in my house on the day of the raid. Everyone who's in the firearm community knows how the ATF gets down. If they had seen anything untoward, they would have been all over me. And the fact is, they looked around and walked away. ATF had been there to drive the search warrant, and that was it. Okay? So this is entirely a New York case, not a federal one. Yeah? And that's what it is. People say ghost guns. It's obviously a silly, made-up political term. I prefer the term traditional guns because that's what they are. That's what my weapons are. They are traditional firearms manufactured in the traditional American way. That is in an American home. And now I know I've asked you every time we speak because I couldn't believe it myself. But the judge, her name is Darkay, for whatever it's worth. I believe one can make some communist ties or communist familial ties, but she did in fact say, "Don't bring up the Second Amendment. This is New York. There's no Second Amendment in this court."
It's the Second Amendment. I think the exact quote was, "The Second Amendment has no place in this courtroom." Yes,
okay.
That's the quote. The Second Amendment has no place in this courtroom. And they tried to. They didn't like it. I mean, of course, I took the stand in my own defense, and they certainly didn't like the answers I gave.
You have 1 minute left.
Because we have a 1 minute warning, I could terminate and call you back.
Call me back, yeah, if you can.
Just briefly, when the prosecutor asked me if I had a permit, I said yes. It's called the Second Amendment, and then they definitely didn't like it. And that was my answer.
And they did. Yeah, call me back. Call me back.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the perils and pitfalls of federal court phone calls. That was limited to 11 minutes, but they're 20 minutes if you get the regular line, and then apparently if you get your own private line, it's 30 minutes. So that's Dexter Taylor. I had him on. I happen to know, as a matter of fact, they also weren't particularly happy with his appearance on my podcast, my interview with him while he was undergoing trial, which is exactly the reason why I don't like doing these things. I don't want someone suffering consequences because they appeared on my channel or we had a discussion. And but Dexter's he's a big boy, and he knows exactly what he's doing, even if it's not that which other people would do. So yeah, Dexter Taylor, New York State commie hellhole, the one that is now, what just happened in New York? Oh yeah, that's right, they killed Peanut. The mother effers that killed a man's squirrel and his raccoon is the one that locked up Dexter Taylor for exercising his Second Amendment rights in a totally non-criminal manner, because he didn't register the firearms with the state, which is where I got confused between serialized and registered. And the one that prosecuted Trump, from the E. Jean Carroll bullshit civil trial, defamation trial, to the bullshit fraud trial from New York nipple judge Engoron, to the bullshit criminal 34 charge felony trial under the corrupt judge Juan Marchand. That's New York State. And Dexter is one of the guys, I'll just fix my arm pads here. Dexter is one of the guys who stays and fights where many others would And I say this, no judgment either way. Some people say both, you're stupid for staying or you're a coward for leaving. It depends on which one you want to ask. I'll judge neither. I won't say Dexter's stupid for staying. I'm not sure that I would have made that decision. I think I would have left. I will see when he calls us back. But people, the markets, I'm only going by markets here, are going crazy. We now have, let me bring this back up. Holy sweet, merciful crab apples. Zen, we shall remain calm. And I noticed someone in the chat said, look at the breakdown of Miami. I have to find this a link. If anybody's got a link where we can get that. We now are at the 105 to 72. Fine. Let's go New Jersey. Shut the front door. I don't know this. I don't know this for a fact. Let me just see what New Jersey was in 2020. New Jersey 2020 election results. Hold on. Mother people. Okay, my knee is I'm getting so excited. My knee is going to pop out. Okay, we got him come. It's like 50-50 New Jersey. Back in the day, it was 57-41 in 2020 in favor of Biden. Okay, let's do this. Dexter. Uh-oh. Hello?
Dexter? Hello.
We're back. Dexter, just so we're getting some updates on New Jersey. New Jersey, they've got 250,000 votes each in, give or take. Harris is at 50% and Trump is at 48%. Oh, now it just shifted. Big time. 53% to 44%. In 2020, it was 57% to 41% for Biden. So we're going to see from the early states on the East Coast if Kamala succeeds in winning, but by smaller margins than Biden and substantially smaller margins, we have a good indication for the rest of the country. And the markets are going crazy right now. So. Okay, so now where are we? So
hang on a second. So who's up again in New Jersey now?
Well, no. Kamala is. They've called. I don't know if they've called it. Yeah, I think they've called it. They got a check mark there. Kamala goes to New Jersey goes to Kamala, but she's at 53% to 44% thus far, give or take, which is a big reduction from 2020. So that's my takeaway.
Yes.
And I'm going to see for the rest here. New Jersey. Delaware, Maryland. Okay, they don't have anything there. Connecticut. Well, Massachusetts is too far gone. So I'll check the rest of these states out. But no, New Jersey, that's a big one. So where were we?
Okay.
We were at Dark A, no Second Amendment.
So yes. The prosecution actually ended up bringing up the Second Amendment, of course, while I was on the stand. And then even after the prosecution opened that door, the judge would not allow my attorney to go through that door. There were a lot of irregularities in my trial, but we expected that. We expected that the deck was going to be stacked against us, and so we understood that the ultimate mission would involve us appealing this case all the way up and almost certainly through the federal stages, where at least now we have some federal judges who finally started to accept the fact that the Bruin decision is settled law, and that the old kind of two-step test or the Chevron doctrine, the Chevron deference that was given to states with respect to gun laws, that's gone, right? Any gun law to be constitutional must adhere to must conform with the plain text of the Second Amendment and align with the history and tradition of this country. So you can see right away that like there is no, breaking someone's door down who has no criminal record and locking him up because he manufactured weapons in his house is an infringement, obviously. And we don't have any tradition in this country of making people into felons simply because they have firearms in their houses. And especially, again, if they are law-abiding citizens with no criminal record, and not so much as a domestic violence and or disturbing the peace. Nothing, which is my situation, right? So that's kind of where we are, And I should add that, among other things, yes, I've always been fascinated by guns, but I was also, again, looking to make this my second career. I've got 30 some odd years as a software developer. I've been a data engineer. I've worked for a lot of startups, some companies you recognize. And I started working on weapons science products and theoretical frameworks. Cyclic energy flow, a theoretical framework for function tuning gas-operated semi-automatic rifles. Ember, electronic measurement of barrel resonance, a way to measure the resonance of a rifle barrel using dirt cheap sensors and software. Drift 360, which was a dry fire training module, and Osiris, open shot registration system, part of which I demoed on Kyle Serafin's podcast. Again, trying to bring my expertise as a software developer into the world of weapons science. And of course, I always have to give a shout out to my hero, Bill Geisley, from Geisley Automatics, who got his first contract building triggers for the U.S. Army. That's what I was looking to do. And that's why I signed up for the Rocket FFL classes online, to figure out how to file the paperwork to get my FFL. That's why I was thinking about building a gun lab in the woods of New Hampshire. That's why I signed up for my local gun range. And again, passed a criminal background check to become a member in good standing. And kind of all of that was put into question when the SWAT team broke my door down. But like I said, we're fighting the case. And our objective is to get as many eyeballs as possible on this case so that we can fundraise and kind of, power our appeals process, which, whether or not it's lengthy, will certainly be expensive. So
But
that's the story.
why were you, I know we discussed it, I think I forget, why were you not granted bond pending appeal?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I don't know any other way to say this. It's for political reasons. There's no way that I was going to, my case is challenging kind of a long-standing, I have to say, lawless legal regime, judicial regime, right? The state of New York has been violating the Constitution for years now. It's been making a lot of money. Remember, the prison system is also a money machine. They've been making a lot of money by locking people who haven't done anything wrong but just happen to have a firearm or some other weapon, right? But violating people's right to keep and bear arms. So they were always going to be reluctant to actually try this case based on the law, based on the laws of the land, which again supersedes state gun laws. States get to make their own gun laws, but those gun laws can't violate the Constitution. That's just how it is. Like in New York State, the deck is stacked. I was never going to get bail pending appeal. Also, by the way, the interesting thing is that New York State has it written into the law that the owning of firearms is automatically a violent crime. So even between conviction when the jury came back with the verdict, between that point and the time I was sentenced, I spent that entire time in Rikers Island because since I committed a violent felony by, again, quietly and peaceably keeping and bearing arms inside my house, I have to stay in Rikers Island the entire time. So that's where we are.
I had another question, which I'm going to get to in a second, but you're 10 years, you're not given bond, and you're appealing, obviously.
Yes, sir.
What's the status of the appeal?
Well, the appeal is the appeal process is paused right now because we have to raise more money. We kind of broke the bank, just getting through the trial phase. And there are all these hidden costs that you only know about when you start to do something like this. For example, we had to pay for our own we had to buy our transcripts. You don't just get the transcripts of your own trial when this came. If you to buy them, and it's thousands of dollars. So, long story short, the appeals process is paused until we raise more money.
What is life like inside? I know you don't want sympathy and you don't like it, but like, the forcing inmates, or at least inmates working for profit for companies. Can you flesh that out? Because when you first described that to me, I was sort of flabbergasted. You're actually doing labor for companies that are making profit off the labor of inmates.
Well, I can speak to one company. I mean, there's a company called Corecraft, which has an exclusive contract for garments and things like that in the New York State prison system. So Corecraft makes, all the stuff they make is for prisons, and so prisoners here can. I don't. It's not quite accurate to say they're forced to work because, we are forced to work because it's voluntary. I signed up for the industry program because I didn't want to sit in my cell all day. So my first rotation, I actually worked in the on-site garment factory. It was pretty cool. I mean, I liked getting trained on industrial sewing machines.
But when you say it's
how
like
many people get to how many people get to make the garments, help make the garments they wear? That's cool. Now, is it a for-profit company? Yes, but again, people aren't coerced into working for corporate.
No, you're
it's a voluntary program.
You're just stuck in jail, and you have not to be. This is not an insult or demeaning. There's nothing else to do except feel productive and do it, and it keeps you busy, and you are in fact productive.
That's also not quite true because there are other programs in the prison as well. Like in my first rotation, I did industry. Now I rotated out of industry, and now I have a job as a school building porter, which I like. I like even more than the industry job because it's basically just like janitorial duties, and then I get to hang out in the library. I can sit in my classes if I want. So, there it is. I mean, there are a lot of things. Put it this way: there are a lot of things wrong with the prison system in New York State, but it's more. It's more complicated than just people being forced to work.
Okay.
And everything stems from the fact, really, the troubles of my fellow prisoners really have to do with the fact that the voters of New York State want a prison system. But they really don't want to pay for it, and they sort of want to be reminded of. And that's the fundamental problem. So you've asked me before, other people have asked me as well. How is it there? What have you? I mean, look. I'm living in the logical conclusion of the liberal progressive experiment. That's how it is. You know what I'm saying? This is what the ideas of liberals and progressives applied to society ultimately lead to. In two ways, right? One, of course, decades ago, Democrats, there's no other way to put it, Democrats decided that that the state was capable of raising children or replacing fathers and families, right? You didn't need an intact family. The state would be the father. Okay. The result of that has been a lot of young men raised raised by the streets, right? Yep. And raised in the prison system. That's one. And two, a lot of anti-gun people, mostly on the left, talk about safety, talk about public safety. Well, you can't exercise your rights because other people have done bad things or other people may do bad things. Well, that is the logic of prison. That's what the logic is here. There's lots of things you can't do because someone might do something bad. Our hot pots, for example, we can order hot pots from commissary to make coffee or whatever. Our hot pots don't boil water. They don't get hot enough to boil water because boiling water can be used as a weapon. You can't order raisins from outside. Or some people can't. Your people can't send you, when they send you food, they can't send you raisins because you can use those to jam locks. They can't send you Q-tips. Same reason. You don't have the right to self-defense. armed or otherwise. I mean, of course you can't have weapons in here. If someone attacks you, you defend yourself. You're both getting punished for fighting. There's no right to self-defense. There's no right to privacy, right? Anyone at any time any corrections officer, in other words, at any time can put you up against the wall, go through your pockets. Any corrections officer can search your cell anytime. Okay, so we have here like the ultimate surveillance state. It's a little bit short of a panopticon, but just about there, right? The ultimate surveillance state. Everyone's been disarmed. No one has the right to defend themselves, and numerous preemptive measures have been taken to keep people from doing bad things with ordinary items that ordinary people can and often own because someone else may do something bad. Now, one can understand those regulations maybe in a prison. I mean, if those regulations make sense at all, they make sense because they are prison regulations. And it seems to me that no sane and free people would consent to having those regulations imposed on them while they are breathing free air. But again, this is the liberal progressive experiment. And so that's what it is. And so how is it? That's how it is. It's you're living in a prison, right? And if we're not careful, right? And going to the whole thing of election night, if we're not careful, and if we're not, and if we don't fight vigorously everywhere, we're going to find that life outside starts to resemble a prison without bars.
Mm-hmm.
That's the experiment that they're running, that they wish to run in our civilization. And some of us would like to stop them. So there we are.
Man, yeah, no, it's wild. I mean, and other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, I mean, life on the inside is not as bad as people think.
Well, I mean, it's I would say prison is a dangerous place, but the danger is unevenly distributed, right? So first of all, unevenly distributed in space because like I happen to be in a very low temperature cell block. Most of the guys here are a little bit older. They're not trying to make trouble. A lot of these guys are working. They have some program or other, just like I have a program. I'm doing quarter. Some of these guys work maintenance, what have you. So no one wants to jeopardize their job. In other cell blocks, it's different, right? And also, how can I put this? I'm rigorous about trying to avoid trouble. So a lot of the trouble people run into in prison is because they may have a substance problem and they borrow to feed their habit. They may gamble and not pay the debts back. They may have a gang affiliation and there's some there's back and forth between different gangs. So none of that applies to me. Obviously, I was a straight citizen outside. I'm a straight citizen here. Mm-hmm. I don't borrow, I don't gamble, I don't get high, I don't mix and gossip and talk about people behind their back. So, a good portion of the trouble that could come to you in prison, is going to just pass me by. Can random things happen? Sure, random things happen anywhere, but I don't. If you're asking if I fear for my safety, not really. The world is a dangerous place. The prison is like the world, only more so because it's concentrated.
It sounds like it's like you're describing cities. Yeah, like I said, there's some areas that are good, some areas that are bad. Stay out of them. Don't look for trouble. But you're in a concentrated city within a building, and that's known as prison.
Yeah, that's right. And I'd say that my principal complaint, I've said that you've heard me say to you before that I'm not interested in kind of talking about how bad it is, or because again, many of my fellow prisoners have experienced far worse for far longer in this system, and I think it's unseemly for me to complain, when that's the case. My principal complaint is that I am here in the first place. And given who I am outside and what I did, which is nothing wrong, right? Which is nothing that posed a threat to civic order, which is nothing that made my neighbors fear for their lives or their safety or their property. It is manifestly wrong that I'm here in imprisoned in the Marriott Hotel. Same thing. It's like, you're not supposed to be imprisoning people for exercising rights that are protected under the Bill of Rights.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Dexter, if it makes you feel, if there's any optimism coming out of this, I'm going to refresh on Fox News and this guy, Richard Barris. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's done the best polling here. Trump is at 111 electoral college votes. Harris is at 72, even though she's only gotten, let me see here. She got, they've given her Massachusetts. It was Connecticut that she doesn't have the same lead, and New Jersey, definitely not the same lead. And it's looking good for Trump thus far. And Pennsylvania is still going to be a disputed battleground state for a little while. So,
yeah.
Dexter, what can people do to help you? What can people do? Like, what's the call to action?
The call to action is to spread the word. The call to action is to get in touch with every, podcaster, influencer, politician, media figure, and spread the word. For those people who are just now hearing about my case, I think there's a natural inclination to skepticism. One is inclined to think, hang on a second, he got 10 years. There must have been some other circumstance. So I always invite people to follow their skepticism, right? In other words, run down the details of this case, right? I've done a lot of interviews. There's a lot of, my lawyer and I have both appeared together on Newsmax and other programs. Go look at the details of this case. It's well known that I have no criminal record, and don't take my word for it. Again, look at it. And then if and when you've satisfied yourself that it's really as outrageous as it sounds, then the call to action is to reach out to people and spread the word. The Democrats who run my state and my city think they can get away with it. It has never occurred to them, I don't think, that they'll pay any political price for this. Well, I want Democrats all across the country to start paying a political price for this. This is your agenda, so-called gun control. So I want all of them to start paying a political price for this, right? We've been, as conservatives, we've been privy to all kinds of rhetoric from the left about how geometry is racist and precision is racist and level focus is a hallmark of white supremacy. Not long ago, we had a school chancellor who explicitly embraced those views in his quote unquote teacher training program. And was sued as a result by several teachers who resented being spoken to in that way. But somehow none of my so-called anti-racist brethren have kind of twigged to the fact that gun control is actually really a hallmark of white supremacy. That the very first gun control laws enacted in this country were enacted specifically to keep firearms out of the hands of freed black slaves. Right? So this is, I didn't make this stuff up. They've been saying this stuff. So I want them to answer for it, at least in the political realm. They should be willing to defend the position they've taken. They should be willing to defend what has happened to me. This is the logical extension of that position, right? Not long ago, we had bands of random thugs from Antifa and BLM running around trying to burn cities, and we had Democratic leaders in those cities pull back and throw their hands up and say, hey, we can't do anything because this is the voice of the unheard. Not that long ago, we had, Democrats were fond of telling us, that bands of murderous white supremacists were waiting behind trees and bushes to jump out and lynch me from the nearest traffic light. Okay, those same people, though, feel free to violate the Constitution in order to disarm me, to disarm us. Well, something's got to give in that equation. It can't be that you think I'm under threat from violent white supremacy, and at the same time you want to disarm me, and then you say you care about my welfare. Something's got to give. Someone's got to answer for that. So again, call to action, spread the word, make noise about it. The Brooklyn DA talked about my case personally. The Brooklyn District Attorney, Eric Gonzalez, said he was going to make an example of me. Again, this is a city in which people have been subjected to all kinds of unpleasantness. I'm talking about crime, I'm talking about street crime, I'm talking about muggings, about rapes, robberies, home invasions, car theft, vandalism, all kinds of things. Yeah? And the Brooklyn DA looked at a law-abiding citizen quietly and privately exercising his rights in his house. It's very important. I wasn't arrested in my car with firearms. I wasn't arrested walking down Fifth Avenue with my firearms. I was in my house where all of my weapons stayed. And he wants to make an example of me. Well, I want to help him. I want to help him. I think we should make an example. This should be an example that every Democrat has to at least address and talk about, because this is their agenda. So that's the call to action. I'm not in the habit of asking for money. Of course, we need money. You know, we need funds in my gift symbol, my legal fund. But I'm not in the habit of asking for that. People can visit that and do what they feel. If they just write messages of support and send prayers, I very much value that as well. It's up to individual people what they choose to do. But the best thing for this is more sunlight, more media coverage. A news team from CBS came to the prison to interview me about this case. That interview aired, I guess, a week or two ago. I note with grim amusement that Fox has not been on scene. Fox News has been nowhere to be found, right? Many of our Republican politicians in New York have not responded. I've reached out to a few of them. Nothing. I've reached out to like big name conservative influencers, Republican influencers, and haven't really gotten anything back. It's been grassroots conservatives online who've really stepped up and really taken this fight on. You know, people like Sonny Johnson, people like Reverend Tim Christopher in Minnesota, people like Rick Barrett, the armed Catholic, on Twitter, Chris Cooper from National Association for Gun Rights, the Range Minded podcast, Dana Lash, Owen Schroyer from Infowars. You know, these are the people some of the people, I know I'm leaving out a lot of folks, but these are some of the people who've actually been kind of taken up the call and said, okay, this is wrong, we've got to do something about this. So once again, the call to action is to spread the word, and to get people to understand that this is an important fight. People have told me, well, you just live in the wrong state. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I'm very sorry, but the fact is that New York is my home. It's my home. My family lives here. My daughter lives here. You know, and my home is being run into the ground by lawless politicians with terrible ideas. And to me, the answer is to stand and fight. That's it. That's it. You know, no one decent would have told the young men who desegregated lunch counters at Woolworths that they should just move to another state. Well, you know you can't order a sandwich and sit and eat it. You have to move to another state. No one would have looked at Rosa Parks and said, well, you know, you just should know that that's the way your state is, so just move. And of course, I'm not putting myself up there with Rosa Parks, but I'm just saying, you know, this is a civil right. The right to keep and bear arms is a civil right. It's very simple. And the fact that many of our so-called anti-racist brethren talk about every civil right under the sun, that tells us something about him. But the right is what it is. And that right was placed wisely by the framers outside the reach of mere politics for a reason. And so it's up to us to defend that right. And I sincerely believe that we have to fight these people and fight their terrible ideology and fight their lawlessness, because that's what it is. We have to fight that everywhere, or we won't be safe anyway. You have 1 minute left. That's what I believe.
Dexter, keep calling, keep me up to speed, and we got the 1 minute warning. I don't know if you heard it, you'll hear the election results in you'll hear them. It's looking good. Anyhow, it's looking good. We're very, very early, but thus far, so you should know if this is, man, it's your interest in this is that sanity has to prevail and the Supreme Court has to be respected in the state of New York. Bottom line, period.
Yes,
End of story.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Dexter, keep calling me. Keep letting me know what's going on.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too.
All right.
Take care.
Bye-bye. My goodness, that's been 30 minutes plus 40. That's Dexter Taylor, people. Let me see what we've got on the screen here. We've got results coming out everywhere. That is Dexter Taylor. Go back and look at our live streams. Go back and look at the interview. When he was not weighing his words when I said they're trying to make an example of you. And he said, yes, they are. Or at least he said they're trying to make an example of me. And I said, what's that example? And he said that black men do not get to defend themselves in New York State. And he did not weigh his words, and it was a little bit harsher than that, the way he said it. That is Dexter Taylor, currently serving 10 years in the Coxsackie Correctional Facility in New York State. And speaking of New York State, now we get back to some of these results here. This is freaking wild. So following the markets over on Predictive, because I'm not on Polymarket, Ohio, which has yet to be reported, they apparently, okay, so look, I'm going to bring up the chat here because we got a massive chat. Oh my goodness. I forgot to, Dexter, we appreciate you, says Lily America. I wanted to read these. We're in California. My roommate is a poll watcher. Over lunch, she said the Democrat operatives showed up in the city north of us and threatened to drive off the poll watchers. Lily America, I'm going to let Dexter know you appreciate him. I know everybody does. His story is sort of fallen out of the limelight. Darren Beatty thinks Trump wins Georgia. Let me see what the markets are saying about Georgia now. Georgia? Does everybody know the Georgia thing? So Ohio looks like it's now firmly going to the Republicans based on the predicted market. And now I want to bring up the chat because there was a lot of discussion. I saw Barris is covering this, obviously, because let me bring this up here. Load more messages. This is intense, people. I've got a 9:30 or a 9. Oh no, 9 o'clock. I've got a 9 o'clock. So I'm gonna get on this in a second. Let me go all the way up here just to scroll through the chat. Apparently, Barris said that North Carolina has started leaning towards Trump, and once it does, it's not going back. Oh, Hyphen asked, did he make the receivers? I didn't ask that question, partially because I don't know what the receivers are. Trump leading in Georgia. Let's go up here. We're going to go to the chat in our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community, which is well above average here. Okay, so scrolling up, let me just see here. Mighty Pay pulled muscles. Okay, he hurt his back. He's out. Let's go up here. Okay. Okay, so let's see here. We got. I hope he gets well soon. MIA. Ohio reverses course for the Donald, over 40% reporting, which is odd because New York Times, Fox News hasn't started reporting it yet. No more using taxpayer money without permission and only under extreme case. Okay, fine. Ohio reverses course. This we saw. Coming back here. Ohio reverses course. Where's the North Carolina? Did I miss that part of the thread? Trump leading in Georgia 55 to 44% so far. Trump is 52% in North Carolina. Let me do this because I gotta pee and I gotta make sure I get everything ready for Benny Johnson. I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna bring up Fox News and enjoy the torture of subpar analysis, but at least it'll let's see what's going on.
Plan started very simply when I got to be the luckiest man alive.
Okay, give me a second.
To marry this lady here. Now you do all these fancy commercials and they don't even talk about you. They talk about my wife. We were lucky, I think, going way back when we made the decision, unlike most did then, to move back to our hometown. And when we did that, that set the stage for everything else that followed. Most people didn't think that made sense either. But had we not done that, I'm almost certain we wouldn't be here this evening. Yeah. When you marry someone that says the priority is to have my own business and raise a family, how in the hell could you argue with that? So we came back and did just that. We lived the American dream, blessed with 4 kids, 3 of them running the business I ran for 37 years, and a family that's always been behind me and Maureen in anything that we did. That truly is what life is about. And so often you get caught in the groove where you don't want to get out of it, because that's success measured in one way. To me,
Okay, I'm already bored
once
with
you
what
do
this guy's
it,
saying here.
I think you
Let me
need to
see.
look
Did I get
beyond
the link?
that. And that's what I decided to do 7 years ago. So that was a tricky navigation when you didn't really have any real experience at it. As I've always
Can
said,
we maybe do 9:30
politics
or
and
9:45
government
question mark?
are a lot easier than running a business. Any of you that own businesses, yeah.
I'll be in here. Give me a second.
Hell, in government, you just got to be smart enough to not spend more than you take in.
Okay, we're getting ready to go with Benny Johnson. Give me a second here. Copy. Send myself a link. We're going to see how this works.
In business,
This is
you're
complicated.
signing the note. Your livelihood is on the line. And by the way, there are dozens of competitors in a real market that want to take a bite out of your flank. That is difficult. Now, the difference is when you jump into the political arena, business is over a span of time. 2 hard deadlines in politics, May and November. And then
I'm bored. Okay, so we're putting this on pause because I don't know what this guy's saying or who he is. Holy crab apples, people. Okay, so thus far, let's bring back the map, the interactive map. See how close I am. Is someone's going to let me know when I get one wrong on the on my prediction? I haven't been doing a comparison. Do we see the same thing that I see here? We do. Okay, so let's look at this here. We've got now a little bit more of the results. Massachusetts, massive 2. See, this is where people were saying I might have missed one because I didn't get, there's like 2 districts in Maine and I didn't know that. And the reality is that my fat fingers couldn't actually tap on Maine. So I just went without going on Maine. Okay, so it looks like, I don't understand why they're calling one for, New Jersey is 53-44. Back in the day, people, New Jersey was 57-40. Okay, so 57-41 under Biden. New Jersey right now is 53-44. So that's a 3-point shift. Okay, fine. Let's go to, I don't know what numbers are in here. New Jersey, a lot of votes. So that's, roughly the idea. Maryland, 33-63. Let me see what Maryland was the last time around. I don't even know where Maryland went last time. Maryland 2020 election. Biden easily carried Maryland with 65% of the vote to Trump's 32%. Okay, so hold on. What the heck? Let me bring this up here. I guess Maryland, they're calling it for Kamala Harris, even though they only have 20,000, 18,000 votes. And okay, fine. So maybe they know it's going to go to Kamala, and that number's not going to stick. Scrap it. We're moving on. Connecticut, 57-40. That I think is about right. From that at least is commensurate with the 2020. Let's do Connecticut, and it is 59. It was actually 59% to 39% in 2020. So if we're seeing like the same types of losses, 3% in these states, although we're still early, so forget about it. Florida, 56% to 40. Let's just round up to 43%. What was Florida back in 2020? 53. Okay, hold on. 2020. Benny is texting me here. Can I push you? Can I push later? Maybe. Period. What time? Question mark. This is what's going to be the evening. Is like everybody is streaming right now. Ooh, Infowars is calling. Okay, hold on 1 second. Put this on pause. Guys, give me a second. I'm going to take myself out.
They bring Viva Frei on, and just after this quick break, massive victory is apparent. The globalists could detonate a nuke or something. I'm serious.
This may not work,
Trump
people.
tonight, shoot his plane
I'm
down
going to
with a
go on
missile.
Alex Jones in a few minutes.
Best coverage anywhere. We'll
But
be
I'm trying
right
to figure out a
back.
way
Stay
to
with us.
stream it here without hearing double voices.
This is an emergency
If
transmission
it doesn't work,
from deep in the heart of Texas, U.S. resistance against a global corporate combine.
go on over to Alex Jones for now,
empowered
and we're going to take a break
China,
here.
allied with the big mega banks that set up Communist China in 1949. The Communist Chinese have taken control of U.S. telecommunications infrastructure. Instead of not knowing, it's a lethal. dose if we accept the dose. Total Internet of Things integration, global social score, complete command and control system. It is the virtual reality AI weapon system now attacking the United States with traitors inside the major security agencies, blocking Trump's resistance of the program and attempting to stop us from removing the tentacles of the Chi-Com/big tech banking combine emergency situation. I have been chosen for destruction because I brought you this information and have been ramming it out as much as I can. They want to double use me as they always do in any complex system of mathematical deception, where every angle of my good is turned against us. So they take what I've said, being sincere, build me into an insincere person in the straw man. I'm a person that cares about life and children and is against these wars. And so they make me a herder of children. And then they build me into this lie to then set the distraction while they're actually censoring all of you to make a debate about Alex Jones. So even if I didn't sell out to them, they now use me as an archetype to serve them by being the main distraction. I have now been captured by the enemy in the information warfare fulcrum and is being used against you. Only your full understanding of this key will break you free from this paradigm. I have given you the transmission. Now break free.
I have sworn upon the
I think you can hear my audio now. So I'm gonna just have the interview while I do it with Alex, but you won't hear his end unless you're watching it on Alex's. Yeah, no volume with Jones, says my wife. I don't think there's a way to do this without me hearing the audio in two places. Let me see if there's a way to figure this out. And if there isn't, then just go over to Alex to watch the entire interview. Because we're on Skype. Because if I turn this audio on, there's overlaying audio and one is going to be disconnected from the other. You might only get the one-ended side of it, people, if you're watching this. And it'll be delayed. So it'll be totally crazy. But go over to Twitter and watch it, and I'll share it with everybody here. Hold on. Here. It's going to be a little messy, but it is what it is. Here, link to Twitter. Go watch this on Alex Jones. You're going to see this with no audio, and I'm going to be live with Alex in Skype. And if I open it up like this, share screen. Okay, so now we're coming back. Okay, here we go. Go watch on Alex Jones. Well, I'm following the markets as much as I'm watching the news because the markets were predicting Ohio before the news was. So you know that the markets are more predictive, more accurate than the news itself. But fingers crossed, despite the fact that Pennsylvania and what's the other state there, Arizona, are saying we might not know for days. You might not need to know certain things for days, but it might be clear enough as what's coming in tonight. It looks good, Alex, and I don't want to get ahead of anybody's. I don't want to get ahead of the ball. I don't want to count the chickens before they're hatched, but it's looking very good, and the markets are reflecting that in real time as we speak. Well, it's not even the aggregate trading markets; it's the predictive markets. So you have like predicted poly market. This is not an ad, by the way, whatsoever. But you have these betting markets where people are. Yeah. And so like you have them, they respond to the news before it actually reaches MSM. This is what's beautiful about it. The betting markets have people on the ground. When they get information, it filters up to the betting markets and gets reflected faster than it gets called for on Fox News. And so, Ohio got basically not called, but spiked on the markets before the news was even saying, oh, the reporting is in. So the betting markets are the easiest way, the most accurate way to say how are people feeling about what's going to happen. They're betting with their dollar, and it's looking very good. And I'm comparing the margins of the states that Trump, he might be losing certain states now, but the question is by what compared to 2020? And he might be winning Florida now because I think they won Florida back in 2020, but by what? And the margins are swinging radically. And Miami going red, or at least having a double-digit shift since 2020 is an indication not just of Florida, Miami, whatever. It's an indication of the Latino vote. And from what I've been explained by people who are smarter than me, the Latino vote, excluding California, but across America. And it's wild. I mean, it's wild in real time. And we haven't yet gotten to the Pennsylvania, to certain other swing states. But what we're seeing from the East is going to be indicative of what's coming as you progress west, except for California. But it's looking very good, and I don't want to get ahead of anything, but it's looking good. Yep. Well, and not just that, like it's a game of politics. Like we all understand this. It's a game of politics, what they can get away with, pushing the limits. If it's so decisive east to west, they won't even try to say, well, we need another 2 weeks. No. First of all, there's no civilized country in the world where it takes a week, 2 weeks, or in California's case, 30 days to get the final tally. It's the day of, you count them. And if you can't count them by the morning, you have failed, and that's not to be accepted. In Maricopa County, I forget the guy's name, coming out and saying, we might not know for 2 weeks, and that's normal. No, it's not normal. What it is politicking. And if the social permission slip for them to do this is no longer there, they're not going to do it. And so if it's decisive enough coming east to west, they're not going to try to screw around. And you'll quickly see them say, oh, look, we got our results in within a day or two. They cannot be allowed to go on for 2 weeks. And this should be decisive enough that they will not even think they have the authority or the authorization or the political tolerance to do it. And so that's what it looks like. And there were a number of people. Go for it. No, Alex. My my father always said reality catches up with you, and there have been delusions that have been entertained for weeks now. For anybody who can't see the graph, it looks like it's a skyrocketing and cliff jumping. But the bottom line, reality catches up with you fast. And the amazing thing is, may it be decisive enough that these people in certain swing states don't even, they recognize they no longer have the political cover to screw around. The games are over. And we know what they did in 2022, in 2020, sorry, because we lived through it, and B, it's becoming apparent now, and it will become more apparent as time progresses. This is going to be sufficiently decisive that no one's going to be able to say, oh, we got to go pull out a few bags here and there. The graph you showed earlier today when I was on with Trump's hair, and like it's his hair and the Biden trying to catch up with it, and it's not going to happen this time. Touch wood. Pupu kanena hora. It's just channeled my grandmother there. Who did this? Like, this is someone deserves credit for that. Is absolute glory right there. And Owen's got a wonderfully beautiful tie on. I've got, if I can bring up my leg here, I've got my American flag socks, and I had American flag Crocs before. I got American socks and American flag Crocs. No, Owen, beautiful tie. This needs to be humiliating, and there needs to be no possibility that they can wake up tomorrow morning. Do you remember Bernie Sanders saying, oh, you're going to think you're in the lead, but what's going to happen is votes are going to trickle in, and then over time the red mirage is going to disappear. They can't wake up tomorrow morning and say that. And if they do, nobody's going to believe them. That's what this has to be. That's what this is looking like. And if you look to Miami, it's got to be decisive, and it's looking decisive. And you look at Miami going, if not red, double-digit shifts from 2020, no one's going to believe, we counted the votes, and looks like he just squeaked into there 80,000 votes in Pennsylvania. No one's going to believe it. And so this is too big to steal, beat the cheat. What's the other one there? Too big to rig. But we might be witnessing this in real time, and God willing, it'll be an early night, and people are going to have to shut up, eat crow, and play by a team. And Trump might come. Nope. But Alex, you understand, like, what we could witness tonight could be the most. I had the vision also when I'm biking, the most unifying presidential acceptance speech ever. We've had our differences. It's time to unify as a country. Trump can say, I'm going to go after the people who broke the law, unless Biden pardons them. And Biden might be, rushing to pardon and then resigning. If they're pardoned, I can't go after them. If they stay there, we will go after those who broke the law. But it's time to unify as a country. And this is the moment where I will represent all of you. I'm not like Kamala Harris. I don't call you Nazis. I don't call you Nazi adjacent. I will represent you even though you didn't vote for me. But I will go after the people who try to lock me up, bankrupt me, and kill me. And if you're one of those people, you better pray to God that you get a pardon from Joe Biden. Because if you don't, I'll go after you. If you don't resign, I'll go after you. But it can be the most unifying speech in American history tonight and reset the trajectory of America. It's amazing what we're witnessing. Look at this. I'm just refreshing it. I mean, Fox News hasn't called Arizona yet, so that's a good sign. It's But the thing is this, the indicators were there, and I had this discussion with my wife where like everybody lives in their own silos, but not all silos are equal. And so you go to Instagram and people are saying, oh yeah, I'm all gung-ho on Kamala Harris. You got Michael Cohen out there tweeting out a gravestone with a MAGA hat on it. That mother effer can't go to hell fast enough. But set that aside. Not all silos are equal. And there's data-driven silos, and then there's propaganda-driven silos. And we might be witnessing a real collision of realities here, where the people who've been sitting there saying, you know, the people who told them that Biden was good for another 4 years are now eating crow. And people are going to have to realize they've been lied to. And may there be a second awakening of those who have had the wool pulled over their eyes for too many years. Well, he did it 2 months later, but then he also went back into censoring and suppressing stories that were absolutely. And as we're seeing with Jeff Bezos of the Washington Post, I've been saying it for years, but the only problem is when you make predictions over a long enough period of time, eventually, you know, reasonable predictions might come true on a short enough period of time. But like I said, eventually free speech is going to be cool again. Eventually, YouTube might operate by market economics and not politics. And so over a long enough course of time, free speech will win out. And we're seeing it with, at the very least, temporarily, the Washington Post. You get Bezos not endorsing Kamala Harris. You get an uproar, upheaval, whatever, uprising within the WAPO. You get the lefty hacks leaving. And then you say, well, we need to hire more conservatives because they need to make money. The bottom line is you can only thrive off political narratives for so long before you realize, oh, well, shit, I need to feed people. And so Bezos is having that realization in real time. So will Zuckerberg. They're going to find out the tides, they change. And you're not going to be able to get away with what you were getting away with forever when they shift. The pendulum is swinging back, and now they gotta make their bucks to pay for their stuff. Otherwise, Zuckerberg's no longer a billionaire. Well, no, not just that, Alex. Like, but they know that it's coming from Russia, even though the DDoS attacks came from basically every other country than Russia. But somehow it's still tied to Russia. And Ratfaceburger, who definitively knows it came from Russia, they didn't think to put in a CAPTCHA, like a bot detector, when they have their online absentee ballots voting before on October 14th. It's so preposterous. Oh, I didn't hear that. What did they say was not true? No, but it's so pathological, and you genuinely appreciate the degree to which Raffensperger is a uni-party traitor to some extent. I'm trying to weigh my words, but like he comes and says, "Oh yeah, it's the Russians." We're incompetent. We don't even put in a CAPTCHA for online absentee ballot voting. We got 2 bomb threats from Russia that we need to treat as credible. We know it's Russia, and Russia's not our friend, so he can take a jab at Donald Trump. Ratfaceburger has earned his name as Ratfaceburger because that's what he is. But the bottom line, Owen Shore is talking about it. They don't have the tools anymore that they had in 2020 to pull off what they would need to pull off to change this overnight. They don't have the tools, and they certainly don't have the media cover. Thank you. Viva Frei on everywhere. Just look up Viva Frei on Rumble and vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the best above average community out there. And I'm going to go back to it right now. Oh. Yeah, it's look, so long as it's he's doing okay, so long as it's only a back. I was like, I'm neurotic. I was like, make sure you don't have any internal bleeding and whatever. It's a back and it's a spasm, and he's lying on his back, so I don't think he wants to do like the Cardi B podcast tonight. So he's resting up, but it's what a night to have that happen. He's alive and he's well. So as far as I know, I'll check on him right now. No, like I want to see him on a couch doing like a Barnes analysis, lying on his back. It's very painful, but he was supposed to be on Richard Barris, who's live now as well. But no, he's fine. I really think he's in a lot of pain, and Barnes is relatively stoic. So if he's complaining, it's not like Viva complaining about a sore knee. But he's good, touch wood, and may the joy might overwhelm the pain, hopefully. Thank you very much. All right, now I'm back. Oh, scratch my nose. Oh God, my little mustache is very itchy. Hide. I'm back, people. Now, who won? Oh gosh, how do I get that thing? Okay, so for 2 things, back this out. Okay, now I'm back. Now you can hear me. And then how do I get the comment off? There we go. That's better. My wife is. Hold on. My mustache. I feel the vibrations as I breathe down with my nose, and it irritates me. My wife texts me, she's like, Viva, we can't hear you. I was like, yeah, I know. It's not ideal, but this is what we have to do. Hey there, Viva. This Federal Reserve Bank is a subsidiary of the Bank of England, meaning your dollar is not of American value, but the British crown. That took the call. I know. Okay, I think I know what you're getting at. Yeah. Election drinking game. Do not play election drinking games, people. Election drinking game. Take a shot for every state Trump wins, and take off an article of clothing for every state Kamala wins. Do socks count? Like I got to take off one sock, two sock. Am I good? We're back here and you can hear me, everything. Let me go to locals and make sure that everything's good here. Sorry about that. One of the people over on local says, on muscle relaxers, very tonic, magnesium threonate relaxes muscles without the toxicity. Epsom salts, magnesium sulfate, soaks do too, but internally it's a laxative. Well, that's a problem. I know that when I had a partially blocked stomach, I had like everything tightened up. Oh, I ended up in the ER. They gave me something that I said, first of all, it gave me everything relaxed. And I don't want to I didn't poop myself. I don't want to mislead. Everything relaxed where I was in immediate, what's the word when you stop suffering from pain? I was in immediate, I forget the word, but you know what I'm talking about. And then I realized like, I can understand how people get addicted to this stuff if what you like is that feeling. If you don't like that feeling, as I don't, you don't want to feel numb. You don't want to feel that warm laziness just pull you down into the hospital bed. Utopia is not the word. It was it might be close actually. But when I had my stomach thing and holy crab apples, it was immediate relief. Just to say, it was immediate relief, and then things relaxed, and the 6 hours of agony was over. Okay, so I hope that I know it's painful. I know it's not ideal to have to go and tune into another channel. Corn Macabre says death. No, it was not death, Corn Macabre. Euphoria? Now I even forget the word I was looking for. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's see. Okay, get this out of here. We're going to go to vivabarneslaw.locals.com and see what's going on here. No sound on Alex, says Laura Verdu. No, because you have to go. So my hack was that I share the screen. The only problem is though, I hear the audio if I bring in the screen and the audio of them live, but they're not synced. So I'm hearing like 3 seconds old audio when I'm trying to talk, and it was it wouldn't have worked. Holy crab apples. Let's go see what's going on here. I don't understand how Fox is giving her so many electoral colleges here. Oh, if I am actually right to the electoral college T, I am going to take such a flipping victory lap. Let me just see what my prediction looks like compared. I was at the 311. Okay, so 311. Okay, so I even gave room for Virginia. I called North Carolina and Georgia. I called Iowa for Trump. Minnesota, I actually gave to I gave Minnesota over to the Dems, and I called Wisconsin and Michigan. So those are the two big ones right here. These are the two big ones. Ugh. Ugh. No es bueno. Ooh, Wisconsin's going to Trump. Okay, good. Pennsylvania. Yeah, I cripe. And Nevada. So none of those are in. Now let's see what's going on in the markets. Oh, okay. Let's. I'm going to go here. We're going to take this out. We're going to bring this up. Did I miss any chats? Super chats? Check Miami-Dade County compared to 2020. I have to be able to find a link for that. He did a Kamala reference. Okay, so we're well over on those. Let me bring up this crap. Let's see what they have to say here. Oh gosh, look.
Harris has an 11-point lead over Donald Trump. We'll see if more Republican votes file.
Oh, it's Dexter's brother. Good for him. He really made his career after serial killer.
That is as tight.
Sorry, that's not
as
nice.
Can be. Moving down to some of these southern states, let's focus on North Carolina. 58% of the vote being tallied so far, and right now Trump has about a 4-point lead. Excuse me, that's looking more like a 3-point lead for Trump in the Tar Heel state. The final one I'll get to here is Georgia. Andrew, 75% of the vote tallied. 3/4 of the vote is in the Peach State. Trump has a 5.4% lead. That's where we're at right now.
All right, Austin, thanks so much. Tom, with whatever Austin just said there, kind of giving the roundup of the battleground states, can we glean anything from them, from the results coming in right now?
Yeah, super helpful there. Look, the numbers that we are seeing right now from Georgia and North Carolina really seem to show him running away with it down in the Sun Belt. okay, especially in Georgia. All right. Now, this is very tentative, but some of the early exit polls we have seen have shown Trump performing, show a lot more men voters showing up and supporting Trump. All right. And that's a really big dynamic. We've talked a lot about women voters with Harris. All right. But up in the Rust Belt,
Okay, let's hear it.
Wisconsin, Michigan, all right, Pennsylvania, especially in Wisconsin and Michigan, we're still not too many returns yet. I think I saw like 9% returns, something like that, up in Wisconsin. So it's going to be a little while before we see what's happening up in the Rust Belt, Blue Wall. But down the Sun Belt, especially in Georgia, it's looking really good for Trump right now.
Okay, well, I don't know if this
All right,
guy
we
just
do have
froze.
live pictures there inside the Trump-Vance election night
Christ.
watch party. We also have
I
live
wouldn't
pictures
mind
outside
being
there
there.
at the Harris Walls election night watch party as well there on the campus of Howard University in Washington. Tom, let's talk, though, now about some of these key Senate races that we're getting the results in. Let's focus our efforts first there.
I want to know what's going on in
Ohio,
Arizona. There's been a
between the
big
Democratic
swing for the
incumbent
Senate
Sherrod
in
Brown
Arizona.
and his Republican challenger, Bernie Moreno. And we were talking before the break, Austin, you and I, about the Senate map and the Senate makeup here. This is where it stands between Moreno and Brown. What can we glean from this?
Yeah, and I'll just do a quick run through here because there
Okay,
was a
we
number,
don't care
and
about
if
that.
you can come out to the
What
map
state is
here,
this?
I want to show off a little bit of what we're working with here. So you'll see an odd color, that's yellow.
Yeah, let me
That's
put this
because
on mute,
Vermont
and we're going to get back
and
to this in a
Maine
bit.
both leaning for their independent incumbents in both of those.
Ooh, I didn't factor that into my prediction as to which states might go independent. Okay, it doesn't matter. We're going to take that out. We're going to take that out, and let's see what's going on. We'll bring back the map, and then we're going to go get some chat questions and see what's... Oh, look at this map. My goodness. Oh. 195 to 117. I cannot hide the excitement. Okay, I'm going into the Viva Barnes Law.locals.com chat. Okay, let me refresh this and see what's going on. While we do that, we'll go into Sad Wings Raging. Says, I have to bring this up, not only because it's a big humble rant, but because it's flattering. So those are the two ways. They're not the two ways to my heart. Actually, only one is flattering. I'm not. Honesty. Honesty is the only way to my heart. Sad Wings Raging says, you're a good man, Viva, and I appreciate you and Barnes for all you do to make this a better world. R. Leo Toast. R plus Leo Toast. I fear that sometimes I emit too much toxicity on Twitter, if we're being honest and self-reflective. And then I wake up the next morning and say, I don't care, F Twitter and all those who deserve the wrath that I deliver to them. Unto them on Twitter. And by way of one example, Liz Cheney. Oh, no. Not Liz Cheney. Jamie Raskin. A man who I call Ratskin because he's a human wrapped in the skin of a rat. This is so flipping funny. This goes back to Larry D. Jones Jr. Breaking. Jamie Raskin says, okay, this guy says breaking. Let me just go to the guy's profile. As a veteran who served this country for years, I am committed to uncovering the truth and working towards solutions that will strengthen our nation. Okay. I don't have a problem with this guy. He puts out a tweet which may or may not have been intended to be serious. Holy shit. He says, breaking. Jamie Raskin said, quote, let folks cast their vote for Trump if that's their choice. But mark my words, we won't be certifying the election. He might win, but we'll ensure he doesn't step foot in the Oval Office. He gets fact-checked, or at least community noted. The community note says, it's often being shared with a quote where he actually said, mark my words, we won't be certifying the election. There's no evidence of the quote, and Raskin posted, American is having a free and fair election and Congress will certify the winner. Good for Raskin for weighing back his own freaking words. Now, I read that, by the way, and I said, oh, nobody's going to take this to be a verbatim quote. Maybe some people will. But I thought people would take it as a paraphrasing of what he actually said. Raskin says this fictional quote is 100% fabricated. It's one more lie in the stream of right-wing lies designed to undermine our election. Despite this actionable libel claim, and all the disinformation, America is having a free and fair election. Hey, Raskin, go F yourself. Go F yourself in every orifice of your body, because I got the quote of what I think is even worse than what you were alleged to have said. You would be so lucky if all you said was what that guy said. You said that you didn't say it. You'd be so lucky. This is what you said.
But the court is not going to save us. And so that means the only thing that really works is people in motion amending the Constitution. But again, it's necessary, but it's not sufficient, because what can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating.
Listen to what Raskin says.
They want to kick it to Congress, so it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff,
they got an easy life,
simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherilyn's creating her new center so we can bring that back to life, even as we're continuing to amend the Constitution, as Professor Hassan has invited us to do.
So above and beyond the fact that he makes me want to puke, and I will call him Raskin for the rest of his life, his voice is also nasally like a rat. We're going to tell the mob that we've disqualified him. So what you actually said, Raskin, Ratfaceburger, Raskin, is much worse than what you were falsely attributed of having said. So congratulations. Go sue that guy. I didn't quote tweet it, because I don't think you said it, because what you actually said was exponentially worse. And I just want you to know that. What did I say? You are so dense, you don't even understand what's going on. What you actually said is exponentially worse, and you should be kicked out of government and jailed for having said it. I'll give everybody that. Okay. I've got to pee again. Link here. Take that tweet and take it and enjoy it and share it, please. Rat Turd went full Tim Pool with the Civil War. Okay, that's funny. That's actually funny. I like Tim Pool. I'm not making fun of him. The Chad 1776. Hold on, I can bring these up here. Let me bring this up here like this. Present, share, our community. Politico is known liar. So I don't know what's going on there. Forget that. We're going to start from the bottom. He's knowingly and deliberate liar. This is what it looks like when a psychopath liar lies. So reasonable, so even-handed and steady. That's a psychopath lying, says the Chad 1776. And I think you're right. Absolute psychopathy. It's just actionable. But what I actually said was so much worse. We're going to go and kill the citizens. It's going to be full Civil War conditions. We've got our security, and everyone's going to need security except for the people who can't afford it. Screw them. And that's it. And then that's full Civil War, because we're not going to certify the duly elected official. Section 3 doesn't mention the president is one of the officers. It talks about, Chad, we know that. I mean, we know that as in everybody who's been to this channel before. What do we got here? Kansas, Missouri, Iowa. Forget those. We don't need to worry about those right now. They're blue. I don't know why, but how do I get out of here like that? Buenas noches. Okay, we can go like this. Raskin is psychotic, literally psychotic. He will be impeaching Trump, though. He already has the articles of impeachment drawn up, says the chat. I heard Joe Biden. Sorry, Alex Jones talking about that. But no, I don't think they're good. I don't think they're good. I made the joke on Alex Jones today. Like, if they wanted to impeach Trump now, at least they have him convicted on a crime, so they don't have to make the argument. Well, you don't need the crime because we can impeach him on the color of his tie. Well, at least you have the bullshit conviction out of New York, so you got that. You got that one a little bit locked up. But we'll see. Barris is calling North Carolina for Trump. He has Mark Mitchell on with him. Check out Barris. There is no competition tonight in terms of streams, and I fully appreciate that some people are going to probably be doing this a little bit smoother than I am. But yeah, go check it out. It's Barris is live, and he's going to be doing good. Let me see here. Nah, don't do pool. How do I do this? The timing of the election seems to always put the blue states at the end just naturally. What is your feeling so far. Do you have a prediction? Abraham Rosen. My prediction is out there. I say 311 for Trump and 227 for Kamala, but my fat fingers couldn't get the Maine. 321 for Republicans and 217 for Democrats. There were no splits in there, so I'll be close enough. I think. Hopefully, God willing. Touch wood. Pumpkin in horror. My chat is being wonky, says Laney Mac. That looks like marijuana. I'm in heaven, says Bill. How do I know that that's Bill? Jeez Louise. Trump got 20% of black male vote in Georgia. Yeah, and apparently got 40% of Latino vote in Miami. It's looking good, people. We're through the looking glass, people. Let me refresh and see what's going on the Electoral College margin right now is looking wildly like it's favoring not the 105 to 114, the 65 to 104 is looking wildly preferred. Presidential election winner right now is 68% Trump and 28% Kamala. Will Biden resign during his first term is still 9%. A woman elected president in 2024 is looking like a losing proposition. That's down to 50%. Wisconsin is looking 65% for Republican and 37% for Democrat. And Arizona, man, I'm taking a bath on Arizona there. I could have sold Carrie Lake at 30 cents, but I still believe that she deserves to win. And I guess they have some insights in Arizona. I don't know what's going on there. Let's see what's going on. What do we want to do? I need to eat food at some point. What do I put on for like just random mind-numbing coverage while I eat food? Oh, Fox News might be good. Let's see what they have to say.
He's been very critical of current leader McConnell. McConnell stepping back, but will remain in the Senate here. So I believe those elections take place internally for Republicans on the House and Senate side, November 13th. We won't put the cart before the horse here. We'll focus on today's election. But I just want to get your sense here. Let's focus on the Harris-Trump campaigns right now. And Tom, you got a lot of sources within the Trump campaign.
Question mark?
That's their election night watch party. We have this, what we call a switch feed here. We're seeing a lot of folks there with red MAGA hats.
Can you imagine what Kamala Harris must feel like now?
Trump voters as well. You see there people taking selfies. So, you can get a sense of the vibes. You can't really glean anything results-wise from how the parties are doing. Maybe a little bit later on you can. But what do you see when you look at this shot we have inside Trump HQ?
They look happy. They look like they know that they're about to win.
This campaign, we've talked about this extensively throughout the election, is, as Trump campaigns go, has been remarkably disciplined. All right, and you got to give credit to Susie Wiles there and Chris Lasavita and Tony
I don't think you do, but
kind of that
whatever.
trio at
These
the
people
top
are
of
so
this
far behind.
operation. All right, but there have been a lot of concerns. I mean, look, when the Iowa poll came out, Ann Selzer showing a lot of problem with women voters inIowa for Trump. You started.
That's a bullshit statistic, by the way. Scrap that. I'm putting this on
at
pause.
these rallies.
Let me hear this.
Whether it's performative on purpose or whether he's just getting tired and worn out, whatever the reason, he's very transparent in his emotions and how he's feeling about things. We've always known that about him. So
I can't listen to this crap. Forget it. Did you guys hear about that poll coming out of Iowa? Let me pull this up. A poll came out of Iowa that was an outlier. Iowa going to Kamala. My fat fingers are not doing anything here. Google Kamala Iowa poll. Pollster explains why Iowa suggests Kamala Harris leads in Iowa. Let's bring this up here. I didn't hear this. I heard it at Hunley's place. Listen to this. BBC.
Make every financial step count with the bull at your back.
Okay, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to see your stupid ads.
And the poll does show that women have partly driven some of this result in your poll. The gender gap is a big issue in this election, isn't it?
It is a big gap, and I'd point you additionally to the margin that Kamala Harris wins older women with. It's a 2-to-1 margin among women
How
aged
many older
65
women?
and over.
How many are there of
And
them?
so there's obviously something going on here. Older people is who you want to appeal to because they're the most reliable voters. And Kamala Harris is doing very well with that group.
And what did this poll tell you about independent voters in Iowa?
Right. And independents in Iowa do sort of switch back and forth. In this poll, they're solidly behind Kamala Harris.
And Robert F.
Numbers.
Kennedy Jr.,
How many of them are
on the
there?
ballot in Iowa, wasn't he?
Okay, I'm going
He's
going
still
on
the
with
ballot,
Rebel
so
News
he's
right
still
now. Let me get the
tested,
link and I'm going to share it with
and
everybody.
he's, I think, now at 3 percentage points, and there's a few percentage points in play. You'll note that neither of the major candidates gets to 50%. So there's still a little squishiness in what could actually happen come Tuesday.
Okay, people, let me get the link. I'm going to be on with Rebel News right now on Rumble. Let me get the link, copy link, and come on. Hey, God. Where is this? Where do I see this? No? Are we on?
How do you feel about the issue of democracy when it comes to this election?
Oh, BBC, I got to get this out of
Democracy's on the line. Like, that is...
Democracy's online.
Democracy was fine before Trump took presidency, and then it all became he lost, and then it was now there's non-transparency. It's always
All right,
been transparent.
get that drink out of that jackass's hand because he's quite clearly over the limit and doesn't know what the hell he's saying. Let me bring in. I'm going to give everybody the link to where I'm going right now with Rebel on Rumble. And they're going to call me on Skype. So it's going to be the same thing that I did the last time. It's going to be a little awkward. Give me a call now, smiley face. Do you have my Skype ID? Question mark. Going to do the same thing, and it'll be awkward and it'll be weird. And I'll see if I can bring it up here. If I can do this. Let's go like this here. Okay, let's try that. Okay, bring this up. All right, look at this. Beautiful. Live. That is Ezra Levant. Hold on, what's going on? Ah oui, donc. Donne-moi de l'audio.
I'm looking at the New York Times, not ironically, but purposefully, because they're not going to be asking. I will look at Fox too, sure. Yeah. But the thing is, Fox, they want to believe also, right? So if I'm looking at Fox, right, I'm getting that confirmation bias.
I just like their data. I just like because you can drill down on Fox by the county. If you click the state, you can go like right to the micro, which is kind of neat.
You know, I consume an enormous amount of media from around the world. I like
I'm going to open
UK
up Skype.
media. I follow some news out of Israel. I follow some news out of, all around the world. But there are some Canadians, Sheila, who, as a demonstration of their sophistication, read the New York Times cover to cover, and they really feel like they're part of the club. They feel like they're urbane and sophisticated and superior to the mere mortals on their street who read, the Canadian attempt at the New York Times versus the Globe and Mail. And so I've just gone over to the Twitter page of Andrew Coyne, who is the personification of the Canadian New York Times snob. I mean, New Yorkers, if you're in New York, you're going to read the New York Times because it's about your city. If you're in New York State, sure. If you're in America, sure. If you're in Toronto and you're reading the New York Times, it's because you want to tell everyone you read the New York Times. It's sort of like being vegan, but it's more sophisticated. So why don't you go on Andrew Coyne's Twitter feed just for schadenfreude? That's a word from a New York Times crossword puzzle. I'm just looking at his retweets, not saying it will happen and desperately hope not.
I know
but it's
that I have
entirely
given
possible for
Andrew
democracies
Coyne
to commit
hell.
suicide.
I know they give him
What does
hell.
it say about North
His
Carolina?
pin tweet. Did you read his pin tweet?
No, I'll go to
Fascist president.
Fascist president, fascist foreign policy, bracing authoritarian summation. What's at stake in the world?
The great Shannon.
If both parties, you know what? It's just, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because The New York Times does do some excellent journalism. I mean, you would be wrong to say they don't.
I'm going in,
But
people.
you can drink the Kool-Aid a little too much. You can put this one on screen. Trump was holding in Georgia and Florida. Now just stop for a second there. How out of touch with reality do you have to be to think that Kamala Harris was going to win Florida? You've got the best governor in America. You have Trump actually living there. You have the attraction of his COVID, and you actually thought that 20-point gap was going to close. So the whole sophistication thing.
Ezra, Sheila, how goes the battle, ladies and gentlemen? Nor do I, because there's some swing states that we might not know for weeks. And just so you know, like we're simultaneously, people on my channel can see me talking but can't hear you. So I've sent them all over to your channel to hear the audio. Ezra, I'm a solo person show and I got my one computer here. There's massive cause for optimism because when Miami, I don't know what the latest stats are, but when it looked like Miami has gone or is going or has been radically transformed to red, you have to appreciate what that means in terms of like the broader national trend of Miami going red, which is there's a lot of Latinos in Miami. There's a lot of Haitians in Miami, in Florida as well. And when the Latino vote in Miami goes red, set aside California, that's a good indication of what's going to happen in every state in between where there are Latino Americans who are not necessarily on the Kamala Harris bandwagon. So it's wild. This, we were all saying this needs to be the decisive night of victory so that nobody can complain. And more importantly, nobody can suspect that there's chicanery afoot. And it looks like we're getting there. But holy hell, you think they were actually claiming leading up to this that they're going to win Florida and they're going to get their asses handed to them. And their user base, their smooth brain sycophants are going to realize, oh, they lied to us yet again. Good for another 4 years, Kamala Harris said about Joe Biden before stabbing him back and stealing his nomination. We're going to take Florida. And now they're realizing they've all been made fools. And the world has seen it. Twitter has seen it. And I'm going to screen grab a lot of stuff when we are done our segment here. This is the amazing thing. I cannot pretend to have this knowledge myself. This is Robert Barnes, my partner-in-law for our show, our locals community. He said this. He said he bet that they would not withdraw Biden because he said, as crazy as it sounds, Kamala is less popular than Biden. And I actually bet on Biden withdrawing from the race because I said no, they have to, and they did. So Robert was sort of wrong for the right reasons. He said Kamala Harris is less popular than Biden. Gavin Newsom was less popular than Biden. Gretchen Whitmer is less popular. And they nonetheless did it. And the question is whether or not they did it or whether or not she orchestrated it. And I believe she did. She stabbed him in the back when she saw $100 million in his coffers to steal. And she outmaneuvered Obama. And she outmaneuvered Gretchen and Gavin. And she stole it. But the bottom line, Robert was saying they would not do it because she's even more unpopular than Biden is. Biden at least has the Rust Belt. Biden has middle America to some extent, or is more favorable there. You take a California progressive DA, AG, she'll be even less popular in middle America than Biden. And lo and behold, he was right. I was right. And the world is seeing it. Like it's an amazing thing. You just, if you get out of your ideological silo and you actually listen to the people who have their ear to the ground, you'll get more accurate information. But no, I think Biden would have performed better than Kamala. Even a demented, kick him in the ass Joe Biden would have done better than Kamala, and we all thought so. But they took their gambit. Ezra, Barnes has been on the Amos Miller case for a very long time, intimately involved. I mean, we talk about it more often, or I say more often and for longer periods of time than some of our audience even wants to hear about it, because Barnes has appreciated from day one the impact and the importance of the Amos Miller persecution. It's Pennsylvania. I'm reluctant to call states corrupt hellholes because some people might misinterpret it as being an insult of the people. Administratively, Pennsylvania is a corrupt hellhole. And Barnes has been on this case, among others. He was on the case of the not even the Amish farmers, but the Amish, not the guys who were helping cows get pregnant for the Amish farmers, and they were locked up because they were allegedly practicing veterinary medicine without a license. Locked up in criminal contempt. And so Barnes has been talking about he's been on the Amos Miller for a long time, fundraising, representing, and raising awareness to the point where, you know, he got some local government officials to get involved in the case. He brought it to the awareness of the RFKs of the political sphere, where Make America Healthy Again was part and parcel of this broader movement. It is amazing that the Amish, they don't want to be on camera. They're modest. They don't like to sue. They don't like conflict. And they've now, by all accounts, turned out in droves to vote for Donald Trump because their livelihood is at stake, but not just their livelihood. The health of their clients, their customers, is at stake. And you know, you have a government that wants to prioritize all the big ag, the big pharma, the big manufacturing, and shut down and criminalize the independent farmers from doing their job. And so, no, Barnes has been on that forever. He's been very vocal about it. We talk about it all the time. And I do think it's had, if not a determinate impact, at the very least, it's had an impact on this election. And the Amish have mobilized. It's Ezra, it's the monologue from Network. Like, just leave me alone in my living room. Let me sell. In the Amish farmer Pennsylvania case, it's not just that they want to prevent Amos Miller from selling to Pennsylvanians, like intra within the state commerce. They want to prohibit him from selling beyond. They want to regulate interstate commerce. Like Pennsylvania wants to be the little federal government of America. And so, no, it is amazing. Just leave me alone. But they can't. And they keep pushing, they keep nudging. And eventually people push back. The Amish are pacifists, wonderful people. And they're going to push back politically. But no, this has been, part and parcel of a broader movement. It's federal encroachment. It's federal overreach. It's the administrative state that it's in New York where they can come in and steal your squirrel, kidnap your raccoon, and murder them. And people have had enough of this, and the Amish are an example of it. And we'll see what happens. Pennsylvania, it's corrupt to the core, and I don't trust Josh Shapiro any more than I can throw him. But the question is, there's been some chicanery. They've extended their voting until 10 o'clock. They closed 5 minutes ago because they had some issues. we'll see where I'm still betting on Pennsylvania going Republican, and I won't trust the early numbers, but may we live in a world tonight where it's not dependent on the results of Pennsylvania, that it's known beforehand, and then maybe they won't screw around quite so much. Well, I mean, they probably are doing their things across the country, but it will only really have an impact on the swing states. But the issue here, and I've been saying it for a little while now, and we saw this in reality last week. They don't control Twitter like they did in 2020. So they can't suppress, they can't flag, they can't cut off links to the Hunter Biden laptop story on the basis that it's misinformation or hacking, whatever. So they don't have that tool. And what we saw last week was attempted chicanery. They cut off early voting 3 hours early because the lines were long, and you get some cop on camera saying it's long and it's tedious, and so we're cutting early voting 3 hours early. 4 years ago, that video might never have seen the light of day because it would have been suppressed and unlinked as disinformation. It goes viral under Musk's ownership of Twitter. You got Bongino, you got Bannon, you got Crowder, you got yourselves on Rumble, which is not bending the knee either. And so it's getting amplified, it's getting the spotlight. And then lo and behold, within the same week, you have a court come in and say in Pennsylvania, they broke election laws by cutting early voting early. And they extended it to Friday. And now in Pennsylvania, what was the latest we saw today? There were tech issues with their voting software in Cambria County and another county, Republican counties. If it weren't for the fact that the deep state administrative state apparatus had its full control over Twitter like they did in 2020, we wouldn't see this, and we wouldn't have immediate real-time solutions to it. And the courts would not feel like they are utterly exposed for public scrutiny. When they can operate in the cloak of darkness, they can get away with denying standing for standing. They can dismiss it for latches. When they can't do that anymore because the videos have gone viral and the world has seen it, they are forced into accountability. And so that's what I think we're seeing right now. There's going to be much less chicanery because on the one hand, they don't have the numbers to play with by way of ballots and mail-in harvesting, whatever. And they don't have the protection of a censored Twitter. And Rumble is out there letting people speak freely and sharing the information and carrying the biggest, most popular podcasts on earth. Holy crab apples. I like him. It is a coalition. This is the veritable dream team. It's not hyperbole. There's no politicking going on here. RFK had a mission, and he discovered that he could not accomplish that mission because of Democrat scheming. And he's coalesced with Trump, and you have Nicole Shanahan. If you haven't seen their promotional ad, it's the most beautiful promotional ad ever. RFK has a very clear mission. And when he announced why he's pulling out of the race and endorsing Trump, it's because he realized he couldn't accomplish that mission, not because he couldn't accomplish it, but because Democrats wouldn't let him accomplish it. He wants to make America healthy. They can call him a conspiracy theorist until they're blue in the faces. The bottom line is he's smarter, more experienced than 99% of the people calling him a conspiracy theorist. And he's realized that he has a place in an administration that can be truly transformative. And I'm using Robert Barnes's words. I can't pretend they're mine. Not transitional, transformative. And you want to make America healthy by getting them to eat the right foods, by outlawing the awful stuff that goes into foods, by tackling the issues that they've now admitted are issues. Fluoride in the water is an issue. Conspiracy theory of last year is now reality news of today. And so he's found a place. This is going to be, if it works out the way it looks like it's going to, the way it has to, a transformational administration. And then you have J.D. Vance, the young whippersnapper who's going to be at the helm. You got Vivek Ramaswamy, the tech guy. You got Elon Musk, Department of Governmental Efficiency, Doge. Tulsi Gabbard. This is the political dream team to change the trajectory of America. And it's by the grace of God that we're here, because Trump turns his head for no better reason and survives what should have been a public execution. And we had the miracle of having him to vote on today. Thank you very much as well. I'll see you guys. When I come back to Canada, we'll hang out. All right, people, I'm back now. That's me. That's me. I know that guy right there. Let's hear the audio. Can I get it up? Oh.
Fighting every day. What a good egg. Wow. Well, Sheila, I should tell you, and again, I'm doing more than just clicking refresh on the New York.
Okay, everybody is manically meticulous. Let me just go see how Carrie Lake is doing. I'm going to go down with the Carrie Lake ship. I'm not selling Carrie Lake, I don't think. I shouldn't say that because I might sell. Carrie Lake in Arizona, man, they must know something there. She's 25 to 88. Ah, cripe. Looks like, what's his face? Gallego is going to take Arizona. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. It's going down now. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, so people, let me go to the chat and see what's going on here. I hope nobody is too upset about the format. It's Miss Scoozies, but it's what it is. It's better done than perfect. Tipped. Let's get to the tipped. Crash 105. Ooh, let's see what's going on here. Crash 105, talking about Oregon. I know how to pronounce it now. Oregon State. Crash 105. Hey, Viva, I'm in Portland, Oregon. Interesting observation. It is a mail-in or drop-box state. 4 years ago, there were 3 to 4 poll workers at the drop box near my house taking the votes straight out of people's hands. Excuse me, instead of allowing them to drop it in the box. This year, there are no poll workers at all. I don't know what that means. Thought it was odd. Well, I say on the one hand, it doesn't matter because Oregon's not going Republican. Where it matters is maybe for the popular vote. The popular vote. The popular vote. What the hell's my problem? I mean, I don't know. But one thing's for certain. Remember, I called it in Oregon. The people who firebombed the Dropbox, they were lefty radicals. They were actually apparently the incendiary devices said free gas on them. So I don't make much of it. Nothing's going to happen in Oregon that's going to be of consequence to the election, except as relates to the popular vote. But the population of Oregon, it's not a very big state. Hold on. Oregon, I'm spelling it like it's Oregon population, 4 million. Okay, so no, but we'll see what happens with the numbers in Oregon anyhow, if there's any shift whatsoever. Crash 105. Hey, Viva, I'm in Portland. I just saw that. Blue CW Soldier. Any word from Barnes? He will be in a position to make an appearance for even a couple of. Let me see. I don't want to bother. Proof of life? Question mark. If you can make it, comma. We're live. Period. Otherwise, comma. I will send back massages your way via mental prayers. Smiley face. What type of other prayers are there? Roostang says, big group including RFK and Ivania gathered at Mar-a-Lago now. Too bad Viva wasn't there playing Beethoven's piano sonata number 29 on the grand piano in the bar. I would be home by now, even if I was afforded an invitation. Abraham Rosen says, the timing of the election seems to always put the blue states at the end. Okay, I got that one. Okay, now, okay. Do I have any, we're good here. Are we still live on YouTube? I don't know. We are live on YouTube. Okay, refresh YouTube. And okay, we're live on YouTube still, which is good. Okay, I'll keep that there. And let's go to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Close that down. We're still on Rumble. Okay, what I might have to do actually is we might, I don't want to end this prematurely. We might leave this going for a little bit so the chat can continue. I've got an hour and a quarter until I'm on Rubin. Oh, Lordy. Okay, we'll see about that. Electoral College seems to be exceedingly in favor of 65 to 104 for the Republicans. Good. Very good. Very nice. Okay, so that looks like where it's going right now. Let's just go back to. I just want to put something on. I'm going to relax my vocal cords for a few seconds. Fox News here. Let's see here. Look at this. Thus far, did I lose Illinois? Hold on. Thus far, there's no way that I can compare in real time both. I was at the 321. So let me see here. Illinois, good. Thus far, Pennsylvania. Dudes, thus far, I am right on everything. I even carved out Illinois for the Blues. Okay. Let's see here. You could see it. Actually, I could do it like this. Let me just see. Like this. Let's see what my wife is doing. Okay, so this is what I predicted. So far, I'm looking smarter than I actually am. Okay. Now, Benny Johnson is the next appearance. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, mamacita. This is looking like the way God intended this to be written, or the cosmos, I should say. Okay, so now we can actually get a little bit more of the stats here. Maryland. Oh, so now Maryland's 60 to 37. So let's see what did. Okay, my dog sounded like he's barfing. Maryland, 2020 elections. Let's see what it was. 65 to 33, 65 to 32. Okay, so what's Maryland now? Some of these states, Maryland is 65 to 30. So that's a big difference. 65 to 32, and it's 60 to 37. Okay, so that's big. That's not irrelevant. New York, let's say 60 to 40. New York is 60 to 40. What was it in 2020? It was 60 to 37. Okay, so well, Trump is performing better. How does it go 60 to 37? Who got 3% or 2% of Okay, so either way, New York looks like it's funny, because he was campaigning in New York. There were some people thinking he might take New York, but that's not going to happen. It doesn't even look like the numbers are going to be much different. Where's New York? That New York 59 to 40. Okay, so he's doing 3% better, and she's doing roughly the same as Biden. 60. Okay. Good. What else? Maine. So I was, okay, we'll see what Maine there. Vermont, New York. Okay. Illinois, 54 to 40. Let's say 54 to 44. 54 to 44 thus far. And if we're doing some little, Illinois, 54 to 44 was 57 to 40. So you're seeing a 4% shift even in the blue states where Biden won them the last time. Okay. Wisconsin looks like it's going to the Republicans. Wisconsin is now 83% favorite. A woman elected president is now down to 16 cents. Okay. Okay, let me put something on. I'm going to go do a couple of things to relieve myself, such as pee, and see what else is the next schedule. 11:30 with Ruben, and maybe we're going to have a result. What I might do is we'll see where this goes. Okay, hold on. Let me bring up just some Fox News election night coverage. What's this? Election night. Oh, that's me. We don't want to see that. We're already watching that right now. Okay, and here we go. I think this is it.
Nevada could be a little bit different.
Good for him.
Troy, you've been listening there to Senator Ted Cruz, the Republican winning re-election
Okay,
there,
give
speaking
me a few
to a
seconds.
crowd full of his supporters there. And you can see there, some have called this race for Cruz, though the Associated Press has not. And that is what we rely on here. You see there the numbers, Cruz up on all red now about over 10 points. And so we'll be waiting to see whether or not this race gets called sometime soon here. Let's take that full. We have it. So 68% of estimated votes counted there in this Senate race. Like I said, Cruz declaring victory there. We wait for the Associated Press, although some outlets have called this race for Cruz. In the meantime here, we do have some more race calls to get to. I'm Andrew Kraft. Thanks so much for being with us here. Let's get to them right now. We want to focus our efforts on the presidential contest right now. Remember, some of these Western states, polls closed there at the top of the last hour. I'm talking about Montana. All right, so Trump getting Montana's 4 electoral votes there. And so this is not a shocker, not a surprise. Montana ruby red there, though the Senate race, I believe, is too close to call there between Tester and Sheehy. In the meantime, let's move from Montana now to Utah. Remember, we brought you the results of the presidential contest from Utah, Trump sweeping Utah there. But there was a Senate race we had our eyes on because, remember, this is the seat being vacated by current Republican Senator Mitt Romney. This was the race to replace Mitt Romney and Republican John Curtis, the current congressman right now there from Utah, winning this race, the Senate race in Utah, over his Democratic challenger there as well. So wanted to make sure we got some of those race calls in moving forward. In the meantime here, we do have some tweets. Want to put this up.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
hold
from
on.
Texas
We gotta actually
Governor
see what,
Greg Abbott. Let's go back to Texas. You see there.
We got to see.
He says, congratulations, Senator Ted Cruz, on your big win. Senator Cruz will continue to defend Texas values of freedom, liberty, and prosperity in the U.S. Senate. Working together, we'll keep Texas. Texas, you heard that common refrain there from Ted Cruz at his party.
Okay, let's take this off. Let's see what the Senate seating is. No, take that out. Take that out. Stop screen. Let's see what the Senate is looking like right now. Senate 2024. No, we're going to need something. We don't want to see that. I want to see what the latest is. Senate election 2024 results. Okay, so we don't have much by way of Senate results yet. People. It's looking good. Okay. My wife has been texting me. I got a lot of thumbs up. Here, you want to see something fun? Let me just make sure I'm not showing my... This is what I just got here. It says, "Hi, Daddy." And then I got 35 text messages. I guess there's a kid upstairs who doesn't quite want to go to bed yet. "Do you want to come say hi to the world?" Question mark. See if I get in trouble with my wife. Okay, comma, no worries, period. I'll let everyone know you're alive and well, period. Things are looking good, period. May that quell some of the physical pain. Smiley face. Okay, Barnes is alive, but he's still on his back. So we might not see him live tonight. I can guarantee he's watching. And as much as he's writhing in pain, he's rejoicing in glory. This is looking wild, people. It's like it's so 62% or 62% on predicted that the GOP margin of victory is going to be 65 to 104 in the Electoral College. It's a pretty popular vote. Well, we won't know the popular vote for a long time. Okay. Check Miami-Dade County compared to 2024. Let me see if I can find that right now. Miami-Dade County election results. Polls have closed in Miami-Dade. Let's see how this works. That's not going to get anything right there. Okay, people. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, I do have them. There's so many things going on right now. Forget the amendments on the ballot. The people on the ballot. Because we got Rosario Stutz, so the Miami-Dade sheriff. Then you got the property appraiser. Those are very important. Supervising election, third of it. Okay, sweet merciful goodness, Aventura, Cutler Bay. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find this in real time while I do this. I do not have the facilities, the faculties to do it. Let's go to locals and see what's going on over here. Refresh. Now, people, what I think I might do is there are a number of streams that are watching this. Trump is leading in New Mexico. Says a special SOV. Trump leading in New Mexico, but how many votes are in New Mexico? Okay, what I'm going to do right now, we're going to do this. We're going to go for the after party on locals, and everybody who wants to watch this, because I think there are other people out there doing this, and they're going to be doing it probably better than me for the rest of the night. Go watch it on Bongino is crushing it. Crowder's crushing it. Tim Pool's crushing it. Good Logic is crushing it. Eric Hunley, I don't know if they're still alive. They're crushing it. Check it out. We're going to go hang out in our locals community, talk for a bit, and then and I'm going to get ready for Ruben at 10:30. I'm going to try to go eat something before I do that. If you're not going to come over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com, watch the election results on any one of the numerous other live streaming commentators who are currently doing this and enjoy it. And we will check in tomorrow, undoubtedly. Oh my goodness. It's almost a sigh of relief that we're not there yet. But I'm going to be on the Unusual Suspects tomorrow. Then I'm going to be on Richard Surrett at 4:18 tomorrow. I'm going to do, obviously, a video summary. And I'll definitely be live at some point tomorrow if I have to do it later on. But we're going to be with the Unusual Suspects. If the predictive markets now, it just went down to 55 cents. Arizona does not look like it's going to Carrie Lake. Oh, crap. It looks like she's basically done in Arizona. I'm holding it. I'm stubborn. There will be a miracle. I cannot believe that people do not want to accept Carrie Lake as their obvious best candidate, but whatever. That's what it is. So Carrie Lake looks like she's going to lose Arizona, at least based on Predictive. Let's just see right now if I've. I think I hear a kid stomping down the stairs. Thus far, I believe I'm batting 100 thus far on what we predicted. Okay, so here you see that, sir. Are you coming in here? Are you in pajamas? You want to come say hi? This is what it looks like, people. I have not yet made a mistake. Watch your toe. You guys want to hear some ASMR? Well, let's see if this works. Hold on. Let's go like this. No, that's going to hurt too much. Go like this. Okay. Oh gosh, that was my own knuckle. Hold on.
Wait.
Do it in here. Do it in here. Not bad. That's amateur. Oh, look at this. There. Hold on.
Nose.
Who heard that? Everyone heard that. May I ask you one question?
What time are you in?
Why are you still up?
No. What time are you ending?
I'm gonna end in a few minutes. Get out of here. I'll meet you upstairs
In
in
a
like
few minutes?
Yeah, a few minutes. Yes. Okay, go. Get out of here.
Bye.
Okay, see you. People, we're gonna end this on everywhere except for vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Any number of podcasts to check out. I think we've done good work for the night. Who will win Wisconsin? Wisconsin is now at 84 cents to the Republicans. So it's looking good. Yeah, wow. Okay, I'm still holding my breath for Arizona. It's not yet too late. I don't know how they're calling it for Arizona. I think they're trying to scare people to sell Carrie Lake. Everybody, I think we've done good. Fox is not your friend, Viva says. I know, dude. I'm not pretending they're my friend. I'm gonna consider them a useful enemy. Ooh. Miami-Dade presidential results. Let me see if I can find that. Okay, but bottom line, let's go over to locals and everybody else find it. If you want to continue watching this, you don't want to come over to locals. There are plenty of other streams that are still going. Yeah, you heard this. Bill Brown says a few minutes. You could hear the excitement. He wants me to. I'll go put him to bed. Marion will make me something to eat. I'll eat, and then I'm going to come back with Ruben. Excuse me, choking on my own saliva here. Okay, so we're doing it. Ending the stream. Thank you all for being here. It's been 3.5 hours. It's been good. It's been very good. I'm going to end this. We're going to stay live on Locals, and I'll leave that chat open and maybe even the screen open, and then I can go do some other things, as in eat and put a child to bed, and then wake up in the morning to the next direction of these United States of America. Ending on YouTube. Godspeed. God bless. Viva Frei if you want to follow, and if not, I'm still Viva Frei. Ending on YouTube. It's like the Dimitri Martin.